In his letter, Donahue also referenced a previous statement against the church made by Green. He then goes on to say, quote, to allow her to continue to smear Catholicism reflects badly on the Congress. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
Well, maybe this was you. A new Gallup poll finds only about a quarter of global employees felt fully engaged with their jobs last year.
And for just the second time in the past 12, the percentage of those who did feel plugged in fell, slipping to 21%. That was mainly because of a pullback in the percentage of managers who said they felt engaged with work, down from 30% to 27%.
Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti reports Gallup estimates the lost productivity has cost the global economy about $438 million. Well, you don't hear this one every day. Police in Norcross asked for the public's help to find a goat.
Duluth police aren't kidding around. They're dealing with an elusive goat that seems to get a kick out of avoiding capture. Several people have reported seeing what has been dubbed the hooved Houdini, last spotted hopping fences in the vicinity of Albion Farm Road. Police believe it may be the same animal that was grazing in Swanee recently. It's unclear where it came from or what pasture it may be seeking, but witnesses say the goat appeared as if it had somewhere very important to be. If you have information on its whereabouts, don't try to butt heads. Contact Animal Control. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
And your local Walmart may be getting a facelift. The company announces it plans to renovate 20 stores in Georgia by the end of this year, including 4 locations around Metro Atlanta. So-called Stores of the Future will include the Marietta location in Austell Road, Snellville store on Scenic Highway, the Pavilion Parkway location in Fayetteville, and the store on Brownsbridge Road in Gainesville. Walmart says these stores will include a new look, more selection, and expanded online pickup and delivery areas. It's 9:03. Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage to traffic and weather. Start with the roads. Triple team traffic. Smile and Mark McKay.
Travel advisory, Judd, rolling into Brookhaven on I-85 southbound. 2 left lanes, including the HOV Express lane, knocked out with a crash. 85 south before Claremont Road, exit 91. With delays back toward Shallowford, almost Chamblee-Tucker. You always have the access road and get back on I-85 at Claremont. 85 is still a bit of a struggle out of Duluth and in Norcross, especially from 120 Duluth Highway, trying to get down to Indian Trail Road. Crash cleanup continues in Commerce. Early morning double tractor-trailer crash and debris cleanup has only a left lane open in Commerce 85 southbound. Highway 441, exit 149. Use Highway 59. Then there's 285, Andrew Seco.
That there is. Couple trouble spots here. First one, we got a right lane block, 285 north, the outer loop. Get a crash at Covington Highway. That's exit 43. Delays taking you back towards I-20. And south of I-20, dealing with a stall. We got a partial left lane blocked here. Slowly down just a bit, 285 west. That's the inner loop getting past Flat Hills Road, exit 48. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms later this afternoon. High 78.
63 degrees in Decula, 62 in Villa Rica, 66 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
I don't know why, but I am in a remarkably good mood for a Wednesday. Maybe it's because the Dow futures are way up. Maybe because it's cake in the newsroom. Not that I'm not always in a pretty decent mood, but Judd, I'm remarkably in a great mood today. Don't do anything to sour my fine mood, my friend.
I'll try to keep the news positive, man.
Yeah, please. Well, that goat story was fantastic. Give me more stories like that.
Yep.
Welcome, friends. We've got a massive show again for you today. Coming up in a little over an hour, going back to Rome, Italy again. This time we're going to talk to Father Anthony Figueroa, who is in Rome covering the papal procession for CBS News. He's going to join us live. Political analyst Steve Lawson at 10:35 going to talk about, we're going to preview the Georgia's governor's race. We already have some candidates that have confirmed, some candidates that we think will get in the race. Obviously, a huge local story, the race to replace Governor Brian Kemp. And, of course, it is a 5K day bonus blitz day. So coming up in a little over an hour, I'm going to give you another keyword in the 5K day bonus blitz, chance for you to win $1,000, courtesy of WSB Radio. And Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett together May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. So try not to spoil my mood today. I know you won't, Deborah. Vinny and Blue, the pressure's on you. I don't know why. It's
What kind of cake is it?
It's Amanda Moyer's birthday, so Christina made a cake, and I think there's nothing bunt cake, and
Nice.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So Vinny, who is filling in for Longoria, I want an extra on commercial break so I can go get some cake for everybody when we come up in a little bit. I want to start with a story that I'm sure was, it was huge in Connecticut when this popped 40 years ago. I can only imagine how big it was here in Atlanta. And it seems crazy, but this was 40 years ago today. Coca-Cola decided to make a change to their classic beverage.
There's never been a better taste. There's never been a better Coke. Introducing the greatest taste discovery in 100 years. Introducing the new taste of Coca-Cola. A taste that is Coke and everything a Coke means. A taste that's very familiar, yet totally new. A taste so good, so real, it couldn't be anything but a Coke. The great new taste of Coke. Watch for it, try it, and enjoy the best tasting Coke ever.
40 years ago today, new Coke was released to the public, and my goodness, in Connecticut, this was a massive story. There were runs at the grocery stores, Price Chopper, A&P, ShopRite, whatever we had up there back then. People were freaking out because Coca-Cola fans, they're diehards. And when Coca-Cola announced that new Coke was coming out and the old Coke, or what we know now as Classic Coke, was going away, it was like a pandemic rush at the A&P.
Yeah.
It was the same in Wisconsin?
Remember. Oh, absolutely, because my mom is a huge Coke lover, and we had a second refrigerator in the basement, for like waters and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember we had to go to the warehouse store all the way in the city, and she literally filled up the station wagon with like as much Coke as she could because she was worried that she wasn't going to be able to get it anymore.
I love that. Now it didn't impact the Aram household because we, for whatever reason, and I guess it was good. My parents were health conscious back in 1985. We rarely had any sodas in the house, and when we did have soda, it was like diet raspberry ginger ale for whatever reason. So if I wanted a Coca-Cola, I had to get it on the outside. Off the black market or a friend's house. But, I grew up loving Coke, especially since I didn't have it at home. It was such a treat when I'd get it at a restaurant or at the store or whatever. But this was a massive news in Wisconsin and Connecticut. I can only imagine how big it was here. And in the home of Coca-Cola, I'm sure it was discussed 40 years ago today on WSB Radio, like, what's going on? What's going on? Now, I've had friends that worked in Coke. And I've heard this conspiracy theory, and I'm opening up the phones. If anyone that was with Coke 40 years ago can either confirm or deny this new Coke theory. But this is what I've heard from inside sources. Erickson has sources in the White House. I have sources at Coca-Cola and Golden Corral and Waffle House, but I'm not going to brag. Anyway, the sources told me that this was all planned by Coke. That the whole plan was to release a new Coke and freak people out like Deborah's mother and me to go out and buy as much because apparently sales were lagging. And this was in the heat of the cola wars, right? Pepsi, I think at that time, Deborah had signed Michael Jackson. The biggest pop star. He was the face of Pepsi. Pepsi was making inroads. And the theory is that Coke purposely launched new Coke in order to boost sales of their beverage. So people like Deborah's mom would go out and buy cases and cases of it, knowing full well that new Coke was going to fail, and then they'd bring back Classic Coke. Now, for a while, because that's what happened. If you're under 40 and you don't remember this, new Coke came out, and it tasted different. Some people liked it, but it was not well received. And then months later, Coca-Cola's like, all right, we're bringing back Classic Coke. And for a while, both were on the shelves, Classic Coke and New Coke. So my sources inside the Coca-Cola headquarters here in Atlanta tell me that it was all planned from the get-go, that what is considered the biggest marketing failure of all time was intentional, that the Coke executives had this planned all along. They announced that they're getting rid of Classic Coke. They're putting a new Coke. People are going to just clear the shelves and really taking Pepsi out of the talking points. No one was talking about Pepsi. You're all talking about new Coke. And then they knew it was going to fail, and then they'd bring back the Classic Coke. So if anyone is familiar or worked for Coke 40 years ago, you can be anonymous. I don't know if you had to sign NDAs or whatever. I know Coke's like a top secret facility there. But if you have any insight to that conspiracy theory, I would love to hear from you. Blue awaits your call at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Vinny, you weren't alive when New Coke popped. Did you even know about New Coke when I told you to get that commercial?
No.
Never even heard about it?
Nah.
Yeah. I remember going in school in marketing class. That was part of the communications thing. I had to take a marketing class. And the teacher was like, yeah, the biggest marketing failure in commercial history was New Coke. And that was just what we were led to believe. But then I moved to Atlanta, and my buddies inside Coke are like, oh, no. They planned the whole thing.
Seeing that commercial, I'm like, oh, this looked like it was good.
I mean, listen, to have a sugared soda when I was 12 years old or whenever this popped, I didn't care. I got to figure out why my mom was so into the diet raspberry ginger ale sodas. We never had real, even for company. Even when company came, maybe we'd have a regular ginger ale for company, but there were never cans of Coke, ever. And it was probably a good thing. Ooh, all right, we're already getting some Coke aficionados or folks that were in the inside calling in. So we're going to get to you in just a second. I do want to update Pete Hegseth and the Signal story. It is the story that will not go away. Kevin Liptak from CNN outside the White House just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I think the turmoil inside the Pentagon is becoming harder and harder for the White House to ignore. And even though you hear President Trump and top officials all closing ranks around Pete Hegseth, it is becoming readily apparent that one of the most important parts of the U.S. government, the Department of Defense, is on increasingly unsteady footing. And we are learning about two new examples of some of the chaos that has engulfed the Pentagon over the last several months. In one, there was a scramble on the part of the White House to try and get Hegseth to sign off on a memo related to this Iron Dome missile defense system that President Trump had ordered up. Essentially, the White House was having trouble getting a hold of Hegseth's chief of staff to get that signed off on. In another instance, Hegseth bypassed some of the Pentagon's own lawyers to go to the head of some of its most classified programs to try and get a briefing for Elon Musk. Eventually, the ethics lawyers sort of nixed that in the bud. Now, for now, President Trump is standing by Hegseth. He says that he is not going to fire him. He's spoken to him multiple times over the last several days. Certainly, there is very little appetite inside the White House for another confirmation hearing, and President Trump, I think, doesn't want to have a firing so early on in his term. We've also heard this morning from the Vice President, J.D. Vance, who also says that he retains confidence in Hegseth. Listen to Vance this morning.
Look, I have 100% confidence in the secretary. I know the president does, and really the entire team does. I think he's doing a great job. I think that he's brought a certain spirit back to the Department of Defense. And if you look at our military recruitment numbers, that's, in my view, the best testament to his leadership of the military. And I wish, frankly, the press talked more about that and not about anonymous sourcing from random staffers.
So those random staffers that he's talking about there were actually hand-picked members of Hegseth's inner circle. They had worked for him for years and years before being abruptly dismissed this week. That, I think, is part of what is leading to sort of this disorientation and the sense of chaos that is now prevailing over at the Pentagon.
Kevin Liptak moments ago outside of the White House. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said yesterday. The wagons are circling to protect Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, right? We heard from J.D. Vance there. Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, adamant. President Trump says he's doing a great job. Just ask the Houthis. And again, so much political capital spent to get him confirmed. And President Trump not wanting to release Hegseth because he believes he made a mistake in his first term, getting rid of General Mike Flynn too early. But there are whispers that there's more stuff coming out regarding Pete Hegseth, his wife, on these Signal chats. And so if that is true, and I don't know if it's true or not, but if that is true, maybe Pete Hegseth would fall on the sword and resign if more stuff comes out and save President Trump the angst of having to fire him. But we're going to continue him out of that story. Again, the defense secretary in the headlines again today, and not for reasons why he wants to be. All right, 48th anniversary of New Coke. A ton of calls. This is fantastic. Jay's in Canton. Jay, welcome to the Mark Arum Show. Any insight into the New Coke dropping 40 years ago?
Hey, Mark. Thanks for taking my call. So I was a junior copywriter at McCann Erickson in Atlanta, which was one of Coke's ad agencies.
Yeah, big one.
I didn't start until '87, so by this point, New Coke had already came out, and I think Coke Classic may have been reintroduced. But the quote that I remember being attributed to Don Keough, who was the CEO, when asked about, was this all a big, plan, a scheme, he was quoted as saying, "We weren't that smart and we weren't that dumb."
So your sources say it was not. It just worked out well for Coke. It was
just
not
worked out well. It did. And again, I was a peon. I have no insider knowledge of it. I just remember hearing that quote from Mr. Keough when I was at McCann.
That's amazing. All right, Jay, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Josh in Atlanta's got some insight into New Coke 40 years ago today. Good morning, Joe. Or is it Josh or Joa?
Joa, very good.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Joe, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, my brother actually worked in the lab for Coca-Cola during that time.
Oh, so
And
you have legit inside knowledge.
there you go. So hope that this helps. But they actually, the price of sugar cane went up, and so they changed the formula. And then the people did not like the change, and so they went back. And when they did, they went with corn syrup.
Okay.
It was less expensive.
So is that why because the taste changed, they said, oh, we better come up with a new Coke instead of the classic because the taste is different?
Exactly right.
All right. The pure cane sugar Coke is still the best Coke on the market. I don't care.
It truly is.
Yeah.
But anything that the shelf life of it didn't last, and anything that anybody held either.
Joe, were you down here 40 years ago?
I sure am. Yep, I was.
How big a story was it? Because it was crazy in my small hometown. It must have been huge here in Atlanta.
Yes, we had several family members and friends that were hoarding up as much Coke as they could.
I don't doubt it. I wonder, because so many people hoarded the classic Coke, right? The original Coke. I wonder if anyone hoarded the new Coke. I'm going to go check eBay. I bet you I can find a can of new Coke unopened on eBay. I bet it's probably expensive because people were like, no, we're not. Why would we save new Coke? But it's probably like a valuable item now. Interesting. All right, we got more calls on the 40th anniversary of New Coke dropping. Was it intentional? Did Coke mean to launch this failed product to get the Coca-Cola name back into the atmosphere and take some of the air out of Pepsi? 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Or you can tweet at me, X, at Mark Arum, M-A-R-K-A-R-U-M. All right, let's check the Wednesday morning ride around town. Live straight to Andrew Seco.
Good morning, Mark. Not a good morning for those traveling in the outer loop through the southeast side. Troubles have been cleared. All lanes back open. Had a couple spots here. One at Ponce de Leon Avenue, exit 40. The other at Covington Highway, exit 43. Still have some leftover brake lights taking you back towards Flat Shoals Road at exit 48. And right over the wall, have a crash that's partially blocking that left lane, 285 West. That's the inner loop. Getting to Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. Here arriving on scene as we speak. Not a tough ride yet, but the brake lights will fill in as they work to move it to the shoulder. This is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Find fresh organics at Whole Foods Market. Get 16-ounce containers of organic strawberries for $3.99 each with Prime through April 29th. While supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Coming Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News, major new plans for a major metro park. Breaking stories from overnight and triple team traffic reports to get you to work on time. Scott Slade's Georgia this week, how high school students here get a leg up over most of the rest of the country when it comes to managing their money. And why Clark Howard wants you to return to the dentist as soon as possible. All this and a 5K a day bonus blitz continues on 95.5 WSB.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on Portfolio X-ray, or click on Full Retirement Plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
I know we just started at spring, but already Maya and I have turned on the AC in our house a couple of times. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. We are going to use our AC a lot this summer. I'm sure you will as well. Great new deal from my friends at Reliable. Check this out, folks. Get any size air conditioning, any size AC, just $69.99 a month. Zero down payment, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Yes, any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments. Don't go into another sweltering summer with your old AC unit. Get a new one from my friends at Reliable. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button, or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
This is Scott Slade, and see if this fits you. You've just gotten an exorbitant estimate for repairs on your beautiful European car, or you're ready to cut the tie with the dealer. You need to check out Wolf Pen European Auto Repair in Roswell. Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, the certified technicians at Wolf Pen will have your European car or SUV running at top performance and safety without sky-high pricing. And to get to know you better for a limited time, mention you heard about Wolf Pen on the radio and get a free second opinion on repairs. Just search Wolf Pen in Roswell.
You do not want to miss this. For the next few days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from the cleaning pros at Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. That's right, 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway for only $109. This offer is only available for a few more days, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
There's never been a better taste. There's never been a better Coke. Introducing the greatest taste discovery in 100 years. Introducing the new taste of Coca-Cola.
40 years ago today, new Coke hit shelves. Marketing genius or marketing failure? Deborah, I just got on eBay. You can buy an empty can of new Coke for about $30. But this is, tell me not to bid on this. Say, don't bid on this, Mark. Rare vintage, original 1985 new Coke glass bottle 6-pack of the little mini guys, sealed. Ooh. It's already up to $200 on bids with 3 days left. That's crazy. I knew some hoarder out there was like, I'm going to save these new Coke bottles. Anyway, was this all a plan, or was this a marketing failure? I got some calls. Try to be quick, though, so we can get everyone on before the break. David's in Stone Mountain. David, what do you have, buddy?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a plan. If you want some new Coke, just buy a bottle of Pepsi.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone said it tasted like Pepsi for sure. Mitch is in Griffin. Mitch, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I was a contractor, worked for a company that contracted on something out to kind of protect my anonymity to a degree. I know you got my name, but anyway, we had equipment that was in their microbiology labs on several floors. And on this floor, on a particular day, I was there servicing the equipment. And I had mentioned that I had read somewhere that Coca-Cola originally had cocaine in it.
Cocaine, yes.
Yeah, and so listen, as I was talking to the employees in the department, the lab people, the supervisor came in and she heard me talking. She said, no, it's funny. We just had a staff meeting in which Coca-Cola, the upper echelon, denied that ever happened. So my point is revisionist history is possible at Coca-Cola.
All right. Interesting stuff. Whatever it was a landmark day in Atlanta, a landmark day in marketing for sure. 40 years ago today, new Coke. And if you're under 40 and you never tasted it, you can buy those 6 bottles. It's $200 right now on eBay. All right, Judd's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, going up to the White House, get the latest on the markets. It's the Mark Arum Show on WSB.
I love Wise Guys Pro Wash. Now is the perfect time to pressure wash your home for spring, clean away all the pollen and grime. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service, but hurry, spots are filling up fast. Visit wiseguysprowash.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
As Georgia's homegrown leader in business insurance, Builders partners with thousands of local businesses to safeguard workers and help them return to their lives after injuries. Explore reliable workers' compensation solutions at BLDRS.com. Builders, insurance built strong.
Okay, so you're a handyman, and the more work you can do in a day, the more you get paid. You need a truck that'll carry all your tools and supplies. You need a Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Dave Baker here. With your lifestyle, the Toyota Tundra is the perfect vehicle for you. It has plenty of room to haul stuff for work or play, plus it comes with the Beaver benefits, lifetime powertrain warranty, free oil changes, premium roadside assistance, and more. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming. It's the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show. See more at BeaverToyotaCumming.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Jed Hickenbotham. News this half hour brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Our top story is the bell rings this morning on Wall Street. Stocks continue to enjoy a big rebound after a turbulent last couple of weeks. Comes as President Trump eases off threats to try and fire the Federal Reserve Chair, and as the Treasury Secretary hints a de-escalation of a trade war may be coming. Now, the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau, meanwhile, says economic worries are impacting business travel and convention attendance here. But Bureau President and CEO William Payton says he is not worried.
We've got some plans that we've put in place to really help shore up and grow 2025 and on through the end of the decade.
He said those plans include bringing in conventions that have not been in the city for decades. Now, as for Wall Street this morning, the Dow opening up about 2% right now. S&P up about 2.5%. NASDAQ is up about 3.5% after a big day on Tuesday. It is 66 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says could see pop-up showers return to the metro area later today and through the evening. Otherwise, look for mostly cloudy skies, high near 80 degrees. More rain possible tomorrow. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. It is a bad discovery for some wildlife here in Georgia. The second case of chronic wasting disease this year in a deer has been spotted in the state. A 4-year-old buck was found in Berrien County near Tifton, very close to where the first sick deer turned up in January. It's called zombie deer disease as well. It's fatal in the animals. Tina Johansson with the DNR says it takes up to 2 years for a sick deer to show symptoms.
What other states have found is it may seem invisible in the early years as it's slowly spreading, and that prevalence will continue to creep up as well if you're not monitoring and managing your deer herd.
Now been found across 36 states. She says residents who notice a sickly deer are urged to contact wildlife officials to better keep an eye on the disease, which so far has not been seen to spread to humans. Well, sources say Intel, which has hundreds of workers here in Atlanta, is about to fire about 1/5 of its staff as part of an effort to streamline management and rebuild Intel's engineering-driven culture.
It would be the first major restructuring under new CEO Lip-Bu Tan, who took over last month. Last year, Intel cut about 15,000 jobs. The company lost its technological edge and has struggled to catch up with NVIDIA in artificial intelligence computing.
Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti reports Intel had nearly 109,000 employees at the end of last year. And U.S. birth rates see a 1% increase last year, with the gains exclusively among Asian and Hispanic women. New data from the Atlanta-based CDC reverses a downward national trend, but the decline continues within white and black populations. Overall, the country saw 3.6 million births last year, biggest gains among older moms in their late 30s. California had the most births. Florida and North Carolina had some of the biggest gains percentage-wise. Georgia edges up slightly with just over 126,000 births last year. It's 9:33. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. We start at the WSB 24-hour traffic center in Andrew Seco.
All right, Judd, heading to East Point. Got a travel advisory here. Vehicle fire cleanup. We're in the right lane, 7585 northbound. That's at University Avenue, exit 244. Mixing with the morning volume, looking really tough back past Langford Parkway. Avoid the area. Use Metropolitan Parkway as a quick fast track around this. The ride into Gwinnett, or the ride through Gwinnett County, looking a little tough right now. 85 south. No crashes or stalls. Just a lot of volume here, taking you about 25 minutes to get from 316 down towards Jimmy Carter Boulevard and Norcross. It's exit 99. And keep your eyes peeled heading through Commerce. Got a crash with some big debris cleanup. It's all cleaned up for the most part, but we're still blocking off those right lanes. 85 south, Highway 441. Seeing delays back a couple of miles through here. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy through this afternoon, high 78. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms popping up with the heating of the day. Some of these storms will continue through tonight, lows in the low 60s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with widespread rain showers and thunderstorms, high 77. More stormy weather is on the way for Friday.
65 degrees in Palmetto, 64 in Woodstock, 66 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, hoping with Paws Atlanta to find a home for our WSB Dog of the Month. Bento, absolutely cuddleable, playful puppy. When he came to visit us, his owner gave him up, so he's looking for a new home. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, will pay the adoption fee for Bento's new family. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Still to come on the show, we're going to go live to Rome, the latest on the papal procession. But what is fueling the markets right now? We go to the White House in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
I hate getting stuck in Atlanta traffic almost as much as I hate overdraft fees. Hey, it's Smilin' Mark McKay. Your checking account should help you with day-to-day expenses and not charge you fees. A Chime checking account allows you to manage your money better. I've overdrafted my account. I was in a jam and I was embarrassed. With Chime, you have peace of mind. Chime covers members up to $200 with zero fees. Visit Chime.com and get started with a qualifying direct deposit. Had an overdraft? Don't worry or be ashamed. Chime has spotted members over $32 billion. Move toward a better financial future with Chime. Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes. Get started today at Chime.com. Chime feels like progress.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank, N.A. or Stride Bank, N.A. Members FDIC. MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp, N.A. or Stride Bank, N.A. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. MyPay eligibility requirements apply. Not available in all states. Credit limits range from $20 to $500. $2 fee applies to get funds instantly. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal or OTC advance fees may apply. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs. Bank ranking and number of ATMs according to U.S. News and World Report 2023.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
$9:37 on the Mark Arum Show. Reminder, 5K Day Bonus Blitz returns. And I'll give you a keyword for your chance to win $1,000 coming up around 10:18 here on the Mark Arum Show. And at 11:35, Deborah's got more tickets to give away to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett, May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. Next hour, we're going to go live to Rome. Father Anthony Figueroa there is going to join us live with the papal procession. 10:35, political analyst Steve Lawson live in studio as we discuss the new candidates and candidates that are not going to be running for the governor's mansion coming up in a couple of years. Right now, though, let's go up to the nation's capital. Karen Travers, White House correspondent for ABC. Karen, good morning, my friend. Every time I try to figure out the markets, I get a headache. I can't figure out what is impacting them, whether it's up or down. The International Monetary Fund issued a warning yesterday that President Trump's tariffs are going to slow down the economic growth. Explain that and the impact we're seeing in the markets this morning.
Yeah, this was a warning from the IMF yesterday about economic growth in the U.S. They had made a forecast in January that said it would be 2.7% for the year 2025. The IMF has downgraded that to say that the U.S. economy is expected to grow at 1.8% in 2025. And they also say that the president's tariffs are going to slow down growth around the world. And that's a big reason why they changed that projection there for the United States. Now, they're not forecasting a recession for the U.S., so that's something to keep note of here. But yesterday, the market rebounded after Monday's drop, where it clearly seemed to be having a reaction to the president's comments about Jerome Powell, where he was pushing him to cut interest rates, calling him a major loser. He has really been attacking him recently, and he had even indicated that he would potentially try to fire him. Yesterday, he had said that he is not looking to do that. He says, I have no intention of firing him, but he wants to see him be more active in terms of lowering interest rates. The Fed is, of course, independent and doesn't take their direction from the White House.
Karen, the biggest source of all this uncertainty is the trade war ongoing between the United States and China, but maybe some breathing room from the Treasury Secretary?
I think it's more that there's mixed signals right now. You had the president yesterday saying that we're going to be nice, they're going to be nice, and that they're going to have to make a deal, talking about China. But there's no indication that China is coming to the table and ready to make a deal. In fact, they're kind of doing the opposite, and they are very willing to play hardball in this standoff right now. And I think for weeks, the White House seemed to be hoping that it would be President Xi who would pick up the phone and call the president, or be the first one to blink and back off on tariffs, or offer some off-ramp here. That hasn't happened. In fact, they're accusing the administration of economic bullying. They're going tit for tat on tariffs and reaching out to countries that the U.S. does significant trade with, like Vietnam, and trying to work with those countries. So I think the White House is trying to figure out the way out of this. You had Secretary Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, telling investors behind closed doors yesterday that he expects a de-escalation because he says that the current situation is unsustainable.
Which would be great, if we could get a de-escalation. Yeah. I guess the question is, though, who blinks first, right? Who makes the first overture? Right. And I would imagine it's going to have to be the United States. And I've said this before, China can handle more pain economically than we can here in the U.S. because, listen, we have the power of the ballot while Chinese citizens don't.
Yeah, and they just haven't shown any indication that they're going to be the one to blink here. They have not come to the table, and the president certainly seems to be almost pleading with China to be willing to meet him for at least some sort of negotiation. When you have conversations or meetings with the Chinese leader, these things take months of planning. When President Biden had those meetings on the sidelines of World Leaders Summit, they were not impromptu. Phone calls were not impromptu. There was a lot of work that went into just setting up those meetings. So it's not surprising that right now they haven't just, dial each other up and have a chat. It's just not how it works.
We'll see how the markets react today. Final question, Karen. Anything big planned at the White House today that we should be paying attention to?
The president just just has one thing on his schedule late today, 5 o'clock in the Oval Office. He's signing executive orders, but the White House has not yet indicated what that will be. No briefing, so we'll see how the day plays out. But we won't see the president for about 9 hours.
Karen Travers, ABC News at the White House. Karen, as always, appreciate your time.
Have a great day.
No worries on Wall Street. OMG, good news, all in the green. Check this out, guys. Dow's up almost it is now up over 1,000 points, back over the magical 40,000 mark. I know it means nothing, but it means a lot to me when it's over 40. Up 2.5%. S&P's up 3%. NASDAQ's up 629 points, 3.86%. So the markets are ecstatic right now for a couple of reasons, right? The Treasury Secretary is saying, hey, these tariffs with China, the reciprocal tariffs with China, they can't go on forever, right? So he's basically saying, hey, we are going to come to some sort of agreement with China. They love that. But they also love, as Karen mentioned, the fact that President Trump said yesterday he is not going to pursue firing the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. He's still not a fan of Jerome Powell, but he's taken that off the table. And I don't know how many times we got to say it. The markets love certainty and they hate uncertainty. Well, that uncertainty's off the table now. So just by saying that yesterday, the markets are skyrocketing now. The fact that President Trump says, I am not going to try to remove Jerome Powell as the Fed chair, markets love it, right? There's some certainty there. Up 1,000 points on the Dow right now. And I wonder if part of it is because I think you might have heard this story like 2 days ago. And I heard Eric Erickson talking about it yesterday, that the Dow was on pace to have its worst April since the Great Depression, which is significant. And as soon as that story popped, we see, the Treasury Secretary saying, oh, hey, this thing with tariffs with China, it can't go on forever, giving us some daylight there. And then President Trump comes out and says, I'm not going after Jerome Powell. And all of a sudden, we're not going to be talking about the worst April. I know it's true. Don't jinx it, Aram. I know. I'm sorry. I'm superstitious. Well, but with big gains yesterday and big gains so far today, that talking point's off the table that we're going to have the worst April since the Great Depression. So good news. We'll keep you up to date on the market. Again, the Dow is at 40,161. Whew. I feel like when you get home, well, you might not know this, Deborah, but when I get off of TV and I'd have the shirt and tie on, and I'd get home and I'd unbutton the top button and loosen my tie. It was like, I feel like I have some breathing room. We got some breathing room on the Dow now, over 40,000. All right, Deborah, we're going to go to Rome at 10:12, talk to Father Anthony Figueroa. But there is already talk about who is going to replace Pope Francis. Are you hearing that? And are people in your church or your Catholic social group, are you guys discussing, or hasn't even crossed your mind yet on who could replace the Pope?
So no specific names have been brought up. We went to Mass on Monday when we heard of the passing. You did a special rosary for the Pope and everything. And there are theories about where the Pope might come from, but no specific names were brought up among any of the parishioners that I was at church with.
Now, normally in a situation like this, like in a presidential race, I'll go to see the overseas betting markets, but I just feel like it's sacrilegious to do that, right? I don't want to mix those two things. But Ben Wiedemann from CNN is in Rome right now discussing, I guess, behind closed doors, people that could replace Pope Francis.
One of the top candidates to succeed Francis is the man who served as his second in command, the current Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. From visiting war-torn Ukraine to brokering a deal that saw the Holy See mend ties with China, the 70-year-old Italian is seen as a skilled diplomat and a conciliatory figure who could appeal to both conservatives and progressives. His election, however, could lead to clashes with the Trump administration as he has rebuked the U.S. president's Gaza plan. Another top contender is Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo Basungo of the Democratic Republic of Congo. A strong defender of democracy and human rights, Ambongo has been cardinal since 2019.
Felice, cioè sono consapevole.
I am happy. I am aware of the responsibility this appointment brings.
Adesso è mio con questa nomina.
That responsibility has seen him stand up to warlords and corrupt leaders, becoming a respected moral voice. The 65-year-old is also the leader of a massive local church of more than 7 million people and represents the growing church in Africa. A surprise candidate may be Cardinal Robert Prevost from the United States. America's global influence has made electors shy away from choosing a U.S. pope in the past. But the 69-year-old from Chicago spent many years working in Peru before leading the powerful Vatican office for bishop appointments, and he shouldn't be ruled out. The top contender, though, may hail from one of the corners of the globe where the church has been growing, and few cardinals are as charismatic as Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines, often dubbed the Asian Francis.
We believe that Jesus is alive, and he was born and he ministered, he died, and rose from the dead in Asia.
The 67-year-old led the church's charitable arm, as well as the Vatican Department of Evangelization. And he may be well positioned as the church pivots towards parts of the world where it's expanding. Still, it's impossible to say which, if any, of these candidates will be chosen. If there's anything we can glean from past conclaves, it's that usually the favorites don't get picked. And in fact, back in 2013, when the conclave was held after the resignation of Benedict XVI, Jorge Bergoglio, later to become Pope Francis, was not one of those top contenders. He was not considered papabile, popeable. But then again, he went on to serve for 12 years as the pontiff.
Ben Wiedemann in Rome. All right, so Deborah, we have four, according to Ben's reporting, and I trust him, four favorites or possibilities, if you will. One from Italy, one from Africa, one from the United States, and one from Asia. I look at this, again, I'm not a papal expert or an expert in the Catholic Church, but you have to wonder what the Cardinals are going to do. Again, Pope Francis was the first non-European pope in almost 1,300 years. Do they say, all right, let's go back to Europe? Or do they break tradition again and go with an American pope, an Asian pope, or a pope from Africa? What do you think?
Yeah, so my theory is that they would go with the cardinal from the Philippines because there has been a lot of mission work out there, and the Catholic Church has grown by just huge numbers. And I think one of the things that we've talked about is fewer people go to church; they're not attending service. And Francis was very good about opening it up to, being more diverse and being more open with the church. And that's what you're going to do if you have this cardinal in the Philippines. It'll be more welcoming to a more diverse group of people, and more people might attend church.
Cardinal Luis Tagle, they call him the Asian Francis. That might be, all right, something worthwhile. This is exciting. This is history. It's going to unfold. Again, the Cardinals vote in conclave, as they call it. They need a 2/3 majority. And we'll, of course, cover everything related to Pope Francis, including his funeral, this Saturday morning. Coming up after the news at 10, we're going to go live to Rome. Father Anthony Figueroa is going to join us live there. Right now, joining us live, though, from Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Andrew Seco.
Travel advisory still active as you're leaving East Point. Mark, bit of a tough scene here. Multiple right lanes blocked. Vehicle fire cleanup. The fire is out, but the brake lights remain. 75-85 north. You're getting past University Avenue. That's exit 244. Slow all the way back towards Cleveland Avenue. Few miles of delays here. Avoid the area. You may want to use Metropolitan Parkway as a quick fast track. This sports sponsored by Lear Capital. Our financial system is cracking under pressure and your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver Report and Precious Metals IRA guide at betternestegg.com. Don't leave your future to chance. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Sad news for Catholics around the world.
Within the last hour,
Pope Francis, the first Latin American pope, passes at 88.
First Jesuit pope said he wanted a poorer church, one that would include the excluded.
For up-to-the-minute coverage of the Pope's
this
passing.
was the sound at the Vatican.
And what comes next. Stay with 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Signs of a wet basement, condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold, rot. Got them? Then you need to call AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. They'll create a plan to keep your basement dry. Visit aquaguard.net and set up a free inspection today.
AquaGuard. Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for The Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries and most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
When everyone in the family wants something different from this year's vacation, there's only one thing to do. Plan for Pigeon Forge. From gorgeous mountain views, shows, and shopping for leisure lovers to coasters, a 200-foot swing, and hundreds more rides for adventure seekers. Plus Dollywood's epic array of fun. There's plenty of variety for the whole family, all in one place. Unique experiences, quality time, and memories for years to come. Find your personal favorites. Plan your getaway at mypigeonforge.com.
All right, let's get real here. Spring's here. The weather's beautiful. Just want to relax on my deck, take it all in. But boy, between the pollen, the grime, the algae, it is pretty gross, isn't it? I just about given up, really, on finding a pressure washing company I could trust. That's until I found Wise Guys Pro Wash. Hey, it's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash are the only ones I trust to get my home clean and beautiful. They're local, they're professional. They made everything so easy and fast. Just one quick call, got a quote, booked next day service, and I didn't even have to be home. I came back from work and wow, the house, the driveway, the deck, it all looked amazing, clean and bright, totally spring ready. And the best part, they use soft washing, so everything was cleaned safely. No damage, no peeling paint. Thought we might have to repaint actually, but nope, Wise Guys saved it. Thanks to Wise Guys, I'm back to enjoying my deck. Support local, trust the pros, mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off any service. Don't wait, book now at wiseguyspro-wash.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
9:55 on this Wednesday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Welcome back, everybody. Coming up next hour, another chance for you to win $1,000 in the 5K a day bonus splits. 11:35. Deborah Green's going to give away a pair of tickets to see not only Billy Idol, but Joan Jett, May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. Do have a birthday shout out today. I think he's been on the show before. George Lopez, born 64 years ago today. He had his own show, obviously the George Lopez Show with the Lowrider. That's a great theme song for a TV show. So happy. Deborah, has Lopez been on the show? I can't remember.
Not since I have worked with you, but I can go check your archives.
Yeah,
I don't remember him being on the show.
I think I've had him on. While I have you, Deborah, this story is crazy because I think that my parents did this to me when I was a baby.
How do you calm a fussy baby? For a couple in West Virginia, they rubbed alcohol on their 4-month-old's gums. Angel Talbert and James Smith are facing charges for murder, child neglect resulting in death, and conspiracy. The mother claims she woke up in the morning to check on the baby and found it unresponsive. The baby was taken by ambulance to the hospital and died on arrival. Now, the parents claim that the baby hadn't been sick, but the medical examiner reported that ethanol was found in the child's blood. The mother then admitted she would rub alcohol on the baby's mouth and gums when it would be fussy or irritable as a way to calm him down. The couple are now being held without bond.
That's a horrible story. The baby dies. But isn't that kind of commonplace, Deborah, that parents will rub, like when kids are teething, they'll put rum or something on their
So
gums?
that's what my dad said. He used to put brandy on my brother and I's. But I think the difference here is she used like rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, not liquor, which I mean is probably not much better anyway. But this was like, that's toxic. That's straight up toxic, especially to a baby.
Awful. I remember my mom would do that, but we only had Manischewitz in the house, so it's like 2% alcohol, and it didn't ease. But that's a horrible story. Horrible story. Be warned out there. I know parents. Listen, bless your hearts having to deal with kids. My cousin used to just he's not a good person, by the way. He used to like crush up Benadryl in his kids' oatmeal, so it would fall. Yeah, not good. Not good. Be careful out there. All right, news, weather, and traffic in less than 3 minutes. Good news on the markets. We'll update that. Are we winning the war against cancer? We got some new numbers from correspondent Rory O'Neill, and we go live to Rome for the latest on the papal procession. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Aram and at WSB Radio.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Hi, I'm Glenn Burns. As a meteorologist for over 40 years, I've seen how weather impacts our homes. That's why I chose windows that withstand our weather extremes and keep my family comfortable. I picked North Georgia replacement windows for my home, and I recommend them for yours. Their Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows are beautiful, and they're energy efficient. Plus, I know my windows will stay tight and true no matter the forecast.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter here from my good friends at PalmettoSleep.com. Let's talk about a serious business, sleep apnea. I suffer from it, and whether you've been diagnosed with it or afraid you have it, I have the solution. Palmetto Sleep is here to give you your life back. They make it easy to get help for sleep apnea because living without a good night's sleep is simply no way to live. Palmetto Sleep offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that opens your airway so you naturally breathe the way nature intended. The best part is they offer virtual consultations and in-home sleep testing. No overnight stays at a sleep center. Plus, Palmetto Sleep has all the doctors that you will need. Most appointments are virtual, and it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Don't suffer from another sleepless night or daytime fatigue like I do. Visit PalmettoSleep.com now. Visit PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Our top story this hour is new. An FBI crime report that's just been released this morning shows cybercrime is a growing problem, and older Americans are being hit especially hard.
Seniors were hit with a barrage of different kinds of scams, ranging from people pretending to be coworkers soliciting money to scams involving criminals claiming to be tech support. They claim they found a virus on your computer that they'll remove for a fee.
That's correspondent Pierre Thomas. He reports cyber criminals stole a record $16.6 billion. In 2024, that's a big rise from $12.5 billion the year before. Older Americans hit the hardest, losing $4.8 billion. All right, your weather for today. Cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, and a few thunderstorms possible late this afternoon with a high of 78, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. People lining up in St. Peter's Square to view the remains of Pope Francis. Chris Livesay has more on the funeral plans from Rome.
Francis declared he should be seen as a simple disciple of Christ and buried as one too.
Again, a change, because Pope Francis has made it clear that he does not wish to be buried at St. Peter's Basilica as previous popes.
Francis will instead be laid to rest in St. Mary Major, his favorite church in Rome.
And the public mourning period will end on Friday at 7 p.m. local time. The funeral will be held Saturday. Roman Catholic cardinals are gathering this morning to decide when to hold the conclave to elect a new pope. The nation's birth rate is still near a record low. The Atlanta-based CDC says births increased by just 1% last year from 2023's record low. The fertility rate is at 1.6 births per woman, well below 2.1 that's needed to keep the nation's population steady. This low birth rate could impact the economy with fewer younger workers around to support the growing senior population. A second deer here in Georgia has now tested positive for chronic wasting disease. Wildlife officials saying the 4-year-old buck was discovered in Berrien County about 400 yards from the location where the first sick deer turned up in January. That case was reported in neighboring Lanier County. Tina Johansson with the Georgia DNR Wildlife Resources Division previously telling WSB that it takes up to 2 years for deer to show symptoms.
What other states have found is it may seem invisible in the early years as it's slowly spreading, and that prevalence will continue to creep up as well if you're not monitoring and managing your deer herd.
And chronic wasting disease, also known as zombie deer disease, has been reported in 36 states. So far, there are no reported cases of humans contracting the disease. Atlanta gets an F in a new report on air quality from the American Lung Association. Georgia Lung Association's Dana Thompson says pollution impacts our health.
The data shows that these pollutants can cause premature death and other serious health effects such as asthma, heart attacks, and preterm births.
And Atlanta ranks third worst in the southeast for smog and fourth worst for particle pollution. Heads up in Duluth, police are asking for your help locating a goat on the run.
Duluth police aren't kidding around. They're dealing with an elusive goat that seems to get a kick out of avoiding capture. Several people have reported seeing what has been dubbed the hooved Houdini, last spotted hopping fences in the vicinity of Albion Farm Road. Police believe it may be the same animal that was grazing in Swanee recently. It's unclear where it came from or what pasture it may be seeking, but witnesses say the goat appeared as if it had somewhere very important to be. If you have information on its whereabouts, don't try to butt heads. Contact Animal Control. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco has a look at your roads.
Travel advisory still active as you're rolling through East Point. Got that vehicle fire cleanup. It's out, but we're in the right lane. Still blocked here at 75-85 northbound. As you approach University Avenue, exit 244, slow back towards Langford Parkway. You may want to use Metropolitan Parkway to get around those delays, get to your destinations on time. Might be time for a new travel advisory through Sandy Springs. Big delays back towards I-75. We're on the Interloop 285 eastbound. That's at Riverside Drive, exit 24. Several right lanes blocked here. You may want to take 75 south up to 85 north, save you a little bit of time. And we're a little bit slow through Duluth, 85 southbound, seeing delays. You're slow from 316 down towards Beaver Run Road, exit 102. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly cloudy through the afternoon, high 78. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms continue through this evening, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, cloudy skies with pop-up showers and thunderstorms, high 77. This pattern continues through Friday.
It is 66 degrees right now in Dunwoody and Sugar Hill. Conyers has 67. We'll have more news at 10:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended fam with us today. Deborah is the executive producer of the show. Vinny Drip, a.k.a. Bag of Donuts on the other side of the takeout window. Your boy Blue. Hello. screens them calls. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to go back live to Rome, talk to Father Anthony, the latest on the papal procession, and then 12 minutes from now, thereabouts, I'm going to give you another keyword in the 5K a day bonus blitz, another chance for you to win $1,000 here on 95.5 WSB, and more goodies in the 11 o'clock hour. Billy Idol and Joan Jett tickets. They're performing together May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. Quickly updating the markets. Oh, we're still in the green all across the markets. Dow's up 1,000. NASDAQ's up 627. The S&P is up 162, all around a 3-point gain, which is great news as we get great news from the White House yesterday. President Trump says he is not going to go after the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, and the Treasury Secretary does say that there is probably going to be an off-ramp when it comes to the reciprocal tariffs with China. So we'll obviously update the markets for you throughout the day here on WSB Radio. Joining us now, our good friend, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, I would say 99.999% of the listeners have some connection with cancer, whether they've had it themselves or a family member or a coworker's had it. Is it possible that we actually might be winning the war against cancer?
Boy, I'd like to meet that 0.01%. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, it's the overall death rate from cancer. Now, this is specifically the death rate from cancer has actually been declining steadily among men and women from 2001 through 2022, even during those first couple of years of COVID. Now, that's the death rate, but the number of cases diagnosed, especially among women, that's actually on the increase for women, rising every year from 2003 through 2021. Now, among men, the rate of new cancer diagnoses actually decreased from 2001 to 2013 and has since been holding steady. They believe that some of that may be gender related because a lot of Americans, a lot of American men in particular, have given up cigarette smoking. And that may be resulting in fewer cases of mouth, throat, and lung cancer in particular.
Interesting. I thought it would be gender biased on, just anecdotally, men don't like going to the doctors. They're not proactive with their health care, but women certainly are. They want to get the checks and the screenings, and when that cancer diagnosis does pop up, it's so much better when it's an early diagnosis.
Well, right, and that's been a big part of this as well. The big focus on getting people to get those screenings, the colonoscopies, the breast exams, the mammograms, all of that. But as things look good, as there are fewer cases, we believe, related to cigarette smoking, sadly, we're seeing more cancers associated with obesity. Things include female breast cancer, uterine cancer, but also more colorectal cancers, more of that especially among young women, but also increases in pancreatic, kidney, and liver cancers as well. Again, more of these types of cancers are tied to obesity, poor eating habits, compared to other cancers that had been more associated with cigarettes.
Correspondent Rory O'Neill joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Looking toward the future, you and I have talked about the impact that AI might have. Could AI, be a help in detecting or preventing cancer? Are there any, medical insights that we see that could help get this cancer rate down nationally?
Yeah, I think at this point, the sky's the limit with AI. Whether or not it does a better job actually screening the cancers, looking at an exam and identifying something that maybe a pair of human eyes misses, I think that's still a technology that they're trying to refine. In some cases, the AI does worse, depending on the cancer, sometimes better. It's tough to, so that is still early days. But the other use for AI is just to process a lot of these future medicines that could be used in order to treat cancers. And the goal, I think, for many of these researchers is to make cancer more chronic, a chronic condition like diabetes or high blood pressure, rather than an acute condition that could lead to a fatality. So I think that's one of the goals, is to make cancer more manageable down the road.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Rory, I really appreciate your time, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mark.
I fully believe, Deborah, that at some point we will be cancer-free. I believe that at some point scientists, geneticists will be able to map the genome to the point where cancer will no longer be a thing. That's my hope. What boggles my mind, though, is when I say cancer, we automatically think humans, but there's cancer in animals, right? Yeah. So it's not just we smoke, we drink, we eat these food dyes, whatever. Like my dog Bosco had cancer. Like it's in the animal kingdom. So it's not a uniquely human problem, which is kind of odd to think. But I don't know what you think, but I think eventually, whether it's AI, whether it's just advances in mapping the genome, we'll eventually we might not be around to see it. But I think cancer will not be a thing in the future.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case for sure.
Can bunnies get cancer?
Oh, none of my bunnies ever had cancer, but I imagine they could get it.
Yeah. Anyway, that was so sad. My poor Bosco passed away. Yeah, I know. And yesterday was National Beagle Day, by the way. I did post it in my story if you want to check it out. A little montage to Soba on National Beagle Day. If you want to check out my Instagram account, it's at Mark Arum, MarkArum. I mentioned, by the way, if you're watching the live stream, I'm wearing my latest Braves hat that I got at Truist Park in the Clubhouse store the other day. So Ma and I went to the game, and as is my wont, I always take Uber to Truist Park because I just don't want to deal with parking. It's easy, in and out, blah, blah, blah. And oftentimes I'll take Uber to and from the airport. And we covered the story on Atlanta's Morning News the other day about airport parking rates going up. And I guess maybe that Uber saw this coming when it comes to airport parking prices. But now there's going to be something called an Uber shuttle to the world's busiest.
You're soon going to have a new way to get from the airport into the city. Uber's launching a shuttle service from Hartsfield-Jackson to downtown and Midtown. The service will run every 30 minutes from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. And to start it off, they're going to be using 14 passenger vehicles. And travelers will be able to book up to 5 seats up to a week ahead of their trip. And they'll be allowed one piece of luggage and one personal item. The exact route will be released soon. Cost will be up to $18.50.
That's actually pretty cheap. So to take Uber, I guess I would take the Uber shuttle to Midtown and then come to the station and get my car here. But that's, if you're like when Maya and I go to Japan this summer, it's going to be a long trip. It's going to be like 10 days. And airport parking, it's not out of this world expensive, but 10 days, it adds up.
Yeah, 10 days is a lot.
It is a lot. So I might, but you are Miss Marta when it comes to the airport, right?
Oh, yeah. I leave my car here at work. I walk 2 blocks to the MARTA station, and I get off right inside the airport and have to worry about anything. So I always take MARTA to the airport.
Yeah, I'm a big MARTA airport fan, but the problem is like when we go on international trips or long trips, like if I go to Connecticut for a couple weeks, I got a lot of bags. I just feel, I don't want to say awkward, but getting on MARTA with like 4 suitcases, that's kind of a hassle to go down the escalator or get them in. It's not a fun time on the thing. But I'm intrigued by the Uber shuttle because that's, if you go to New York City, they have, they're not run by Uber, but they have all these shuttles that will take you from the airport like LaGuardia into Midtown Manhattan, and it's way cheaper than that. I think that's Clark's preferred method of travel in New York City. But I am very interested in that. All right, the markets are up, but maybe not all good news financially for Americans. Record number of Americans are declaring bankruptcy. Is that right, Deborah?
More Americans are filing for bankruptcy. Personal bankruptcy inquiries surged in the first 3 months of the year. Consumers are calling lawyers to ask questions because they can't pay their bills or having trouble, and they're asking about the process to file bankruptcy. Heavy consumer debts, years of huge inflation, and of course higher interest are all squeezing the American budget. Total household debt at the end of 2024 hit an all-time high of $18 trillion.
Oh my gosh. That's and that it encompasses all lifestyles too, right? That people are dealing with financial difficulties, whether you're, middle class, upper class. What is it? What's below middle class? I don't want to say lower class, right? That's
poverty.
Yeah, I guess if you're just above the poverty line, that's probably the best way to put it. It's impacting everybody, but the fact that we're seeing such an increase in bankruptcies and credit card debt and everything is really, really tough. All right, so Blue's having trouble, Deborah, to get Father Anthony in Rome, so he's going to still work on that. Maybe you can reach out and see if we can get a better number for him.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, because I want to get Father Anthony Figueroa from CBS. He's in Rome right there. But while we have a second, I have time for this story. Vinny, you ever thought about, hopefully not, but if you heard about, death row inmates and they get a final meal, have you ever thought about what your final meal would be?
No.
Not chunky soup.
No, definitely not that.
Just off the cuff, what do you think your last meal on earth, what would you want it to be?
My grandma makes my favorite meal.
Okay.
Meatloaf, cabbage, and mashed potatoes.
Oh, all right.
Yes. I need that.
All right. So, God forbid, Vinny's on death row. Grandma drip. Vinny wants the meatloaf, the cabbage, and the mashed potatoes. So, Deborah came up with what Americans would choose for the last meal in each state. Breaks it down by state. This is from Choice Mutual, put together a survey. Here in Georgia, guess what the number one last meal would be for Georgians?
Probably something with fried chicken.
That's what I would have said, fried chicken. Apparently, it's steak.
Steak.
Yeah, which who doesn't love a good steak? But I would have been with you, fried chicken. In Connecticut, this doesn't surprise me. Pasta, the number one choice. For a final meal. Deborah's home state of Wisconsin. It's a tie between pizza and steak. I love pizza. But for your last meal on earth, be like, can I get some Papa John's? Or, right? That seems bad. Maine, it's potatoes and pizza and a burger. They're all tied. Now, here, I don't have an answer for this. Because it depends on my mood. Right? It totally depends on my mood. Some days I'm in the mood for Chinese food. So maybe my last meal would be spare ribs and pork fried rice and shrimp and lobster. I don't know. A lot of times I crave Italian. Maybe I want a chicken parm. My favorite meal of the year is Thanksgiving. But I have to be in the mood for turkey and dressing, mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie. So I can't say right now with certainty what I would want my last meal to be.
Matter than maybe when you're on death row. Like if you're in death row in November, then you're going to go for the Thanksgiving meal.
Exactly. And who knows? Maybe it's July 4th. And I'm like, you know what? I want hot dogs and baked beans. So I can't come up with what I would pick for it. It's all depending on my appetite. So I can't say with certainty what it can be. I can say with certainty, though, what today's 5K a day bonus blitz word is. Very excited. All right. 10 a.m. keyword is today. 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 Today is today. Enter the word today into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 10:30 a.m. to enter the keyword. Win $1,000. The keyword is today. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 11:30 from a number you don't recognize, pick it up. Could be us telling you won $1,000. Again, the 10 a.m. keyword is today, Today. Good luck. All right, let's wish you luck on the roads as well. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center and the incomparable...
Well, right now, looking at a little bit of trouble. They are picking the cones up as you're moving through East Point. Big trouble spot most of the morning we saw here, Mark, but we are in better shape. We are leaving those right lanes with this vehicle fire cleanup. 7585 northbound, that's University Avenue, exit 244. We're still slow back to Langford Parkway, but those delays will thin out quite gradually here. We did have another trouble spot near Sandy Springs. That has since cleared. The delays are thinning back out quite nicely. 285 East, that's the inner loop at Riverside Drive, exit 24. But if you're heading by the Cloverleaf for 75 meets 285, going to be seeing a little bit of traffic. Got some baseball happening this afternoon at 12:15, so make sure you are planning some alternates if you're heading closer towards the home of the Braves. This sport's sponsored by Lear Capital. Our financial system is cracking under pressure. Your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver Report and Precious Metals IRA guide at betternestegg.com. Don't leave your future to chance. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSP.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSP has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
If you're in the market as a home buyer or seller, there's a lot of noise out there and a lot of options. Should you find a company to buy your home, or accept a guaranteed cash offer, or do a traditional sale? Each of these has an upside and each has a downside. Hi, I'm Deborah Morton, founder of Clario Real Estate. My team and I can offer all of these, and we help our clients sort through these choices every day. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home in the next 6 to 12 months, we can give you clarity so you can can decide with confidence. My team and I are the experts. We have helped hundreds of families move and are ranked in the top 5% nationally. At Clario Real Estate, we can provide clarity on the best approach for you. Oh, and I'm also the real estate expert and host of the show Inside Georgia Real Estate, airing right here every Saturday at 1 p.m. Go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com and tune in this Saturday at 1 p.m. for more. Clario Real Estate. Real clarity, real certainty for the real value of your home.
Multiple contractors and estimates for your home projects? What a hassle. Instead, trust the Plus. Painting Plus.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We're reliable, fully licensed, and insured. No muss, no fuss. Trust the Plus and leave everything on your list to us.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in Amco just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to Amco.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned Amco near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
10:23 on the Mark Arum Show, continuing our coverage of the passing of Pope Francis. Joining us live in Rome, Italy, Monsignor Anthony Figueiredo. Monsignor, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Mark.
Days now after the passing of the Pope, what's it like in Rome and the Vatican?
Well, it's an amazing experience, actually. Thousands upon thousands descending on St. Peter's Basilica now to pay their final respects to Pope Francis, of all ages, all cultures. I saw a group of Buddhist monks. I see many, many young people, tears being shed, but I would say tears also tinged with some joy. You know, the Holy Father suffered greatly in these last weeks, we can say last years, and now there's a real sense. I viewed the Holy Father now twice myself, and there's a great sense of peace in his face. Good and faithful servant, earn the reward now of your labors.
I would imagine as we get further from his passing, you know, we had the sense of shock and mourning, but now moving into more of a celebration of his life and his papacy.
I think it's been a fantastic papacy, and we're seeing that really, you know, 170 foreign delegations descending upon Rome, including, as you know, President Trump, Melania, the Prince of Wales. Many foreign leaders are coming, heads of state. So there is this celebration of a great moral leader, because he was not only the Pope of 1.4 billion Catholics, but he was the moral voice, I would say, especially on the side of the underdog, you know, in war-torn regions, whether it was immigrants, whether it was prisoners, whether it was people with different sexual orientations. Pope Francis was the people's Pope, and that's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating a wonderful life.
Monsignor, did the Pope have a will or leave any last words for us?
He did, actually, and it was a very simple will, probably the simplest I have seen in my time. He wrote it, actually, in 2022, so almost 3 years ago. And even then, he says, I'm entering now the final time of my life, and I offer up this suffering for peace in the world and for fraternity, brotherhood, sisterhood amongst all. And it's beautiful because Pope Francis concentrates only on one thing, and that is how he wants to be buried. In his favorite basilica dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary, in a very simple coffin, a wood coffin laid in the ground with simply the name Franciscus, Francis, on the top. He even goes as far as saying that my funeral will be paid by a benefactor.
Yeah, unbelievable. Monsignor Anthony Figueroa in Rome, Italy. Monsignor, thank you so much for your time. When we come back after news, weather, and traffic, we'll update our top local stories, and let's get into the political stories of the day. Political analyst Stephen Lawson joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Hey, if you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, now you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Hey, Sean Hannity here. One of the most stressful things about selling your home is not being able to control the timing. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate, they allow you to receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. Just go to markspain.com to find out what your guaranteed offer will be. That's markspain.com, and you can start packing.
Hi, it's Tim Andrews for My Roofer FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you'll be able to get it in the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
Hey, it's Scott Slade with another big update from my friends at Myland. They've got a new mortgage available to those of you who own a rental home or investment property. This loan allows you to qualify based on the cash flow of the property. And that means you don't need to provide your income or employment like a traditional mortgage. It's special programs and industry knowledge like this that keep me talking about the abilities of my friends at Myland. Whether you're looking to buy a new home, refinance to lower your payment, or need to see how you can access the equity in your home to pay off other debts, do yourself a favor. Call my friends at Myland. Countless 5-star reviews and testimonials from homeowners just like you. Myland's been a top mortgage lender in Atlanta and a friend of mine for decades. Give Myland a call today. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS in Georgia residential mortgage licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
When everyone in the family wants something different from this year's vacation, there's only one thing to do. Plan for Pigeon Forge. From gorgeous mountain views, shows, and shopping for leisure lovers, to coasters, a 200-foot swing, and hundreds more rides for adventure seekers. Plus Dollywood's epic array of fun. There's plenty of variety for the whole family, all in one place. Unique experiences, quality time, and memories for years to come. Find your personal favorites. Plan your getaway at mypigeonforge.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on Heritage Farm bone-in split chicken breast. On sale now for only $1.79 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
This is Scott Slade, and I'm ready for air conditioning season. Ragsdale Heating and Air has already checked out my system, so I know it's right. Get to know the good people at Ragsdale before summer arrives. Right now, you can take up to $1,700 off a new Carrier home comfort system. And that comes with Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty. And if your current system just needs some attention, take advantage of Ragsdale's $79 AC tune-up offer. You can trust Ragsdale for plumbing and electrical work, too, when you go to ragsdaleair.com or call them. Ragsdale is the name I know you can trust.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Let's start with your money. Stocks are surging. Investors seem relieved that President Trump had eased his rhetoric towards Fed Chair Jerome Powell and says he's not going to fire him, and that it looks like the administration plans to ease its tariff policies with China. So let's take a look at the markets. They're in the green. The Dow's up more than 1,000, up 1,070 at 40,260. So the Dow's up almost 3%, NASDAQ's up more than 4%, and the S&P's up more than 3% here at 10:30. Your weather for today, it's going to be cloudy, some scattered rain showers, a few thunderstorms possible, and a high of 78. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. This just in, a Stone Mountain woman lands behind bars in Gwinnett County in an elder fraud case, and police believe more victims are out there. Captain Robert Thompson with Swanee Police says 24-year-old Brianna Michelle Powell is accused of taking about $20,000 from 4 victims.
Miss Powell had been an in-home caregiver, kind of like help with household chores, cooking, that kind of stuff.
Police found out about the alleged crimes after an elderly woman was hit with fraudulent credit card charges and noticed checks missing from her home. Police want anyone who has had Powell in their home to contact the agency. Now to Cobb County. They've approved a new agreement with Flock Security to keep license plate reading cameras rolling.
The new agreement, approved unanimously by commissioners, will keep the more than 70 cameras up and running across the county. Earlier this month, Cobb Police Chief Stuart Van Hooser crediting the cameras with helping them improve their crime-fighting efforts.
We caught homicide perpetrators from Metro Atlanta. We seized guns we would never have seized, gang members we would never have taken into custody.
Information from the cameras is shared with the department's real-time crime center. The new agreement will cost the county $213,000. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The body of the late Pope Francis is within St. Peter's Basilica to lie in state until Friday evening. Folks are waiting in line to pay their respects like this man.
Pope Francis was an ordinary, beautiful man who lived his life as a follower of Jesus in his most sincere way.
The Basilica will stay open until midnight to allow the public to pay their respects ahead of his funeral on Saturday. Well, youth sports are taking up plenty of parents' time and a lot of their money.
A new survey from New York Life finds parents spend an average of $3,000 each year on youth sports. That number's only gone up in recent years. It finds kids spend about 15 hours each week on sports activities, and almost all parents say they are very active in those events, either attending them or helping to coach them. And many are optimistic about their futures. More than 80% of parents believe their kid has the potential to play at the college level. Almost the same amount think they can one day go pro, although fewer than 1% make it that far. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Well, it's been 20 years today since the first video was uploaded to YouTube. The platform now operates in more than 100 countries around the world and hosts billions of videos. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Seen delays leaving the mall of Stonecrest. Got a stalled big rig in the right lane. I-20 westbound where Panola Road exit 71. Brake lights taking you all the way back towards Evans Mill Road exit 74. Might be time to hop on Covington Highway. Save you just a little bit of time through here. See new delays on the southeast side. Might have something jamming you up. 285 south. That's the inner loop getting towards I-20 exit 46. A little bit of brake lights downtown. Northbound, the delays move from University Avenue to Freedom Parkway southbound, starting just south of 400 on 85 proper, and a little bit of a delay spot through Duluth. 85 south, still some leftover volume, slow from 316 down towards Beaveroon Road, exit 102. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy through this afternoon, high 78. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms popping up with the heating of the day. Some of these storms will continue through tonight, lows in the low 60s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with widespread rain showers and thunderstorms, high 77. More stormy weather is on the way for Friday.
69 degrees in Kennesaw, 71 in East Point, and it's 68 right now in Johns Creek. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
Look, I have 100% confidence in the secretary. I know the president does, and really the entire team does.
Vice President J.D. Vance
great...
says 100% behind Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. We'll talk that and all things political. Political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio next on the Mark Arum Show.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage doors should be around to play with the grandkids and talk about the old days when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Let me tell you, folks, Breda has got the bugs beat at the Aram house. Hey, it's Mark Aram, and my local friends at Breda Pest Management know my house inside and out. They've customized a unique treatment plan that stops any bugs and critters. And let's face it, we live in Georgia. We have bugs. We have a lot of bugs. We have critters. We have a lot of critters. We don't want the bugs and critters inside our home. That's where Breda comes in. With Breda, always a familiar, local person servicing my home and answering my calls, never an irritating automated call center. And the folks that come to my house, they're friendly, they're nice, they do an amazing job, and they care. Breda cares more and will work harder for you. They're our neighbors, and they've invested in our community, and doing it better is what the Breda family does. Breda, they handle bugs and critters. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Beaver Direct Certified, providing the highest quality vehicles at the very best prices. Every vehicle undergoes rigorous reconditioning with the industry-leading 12-month, 12,000-mile certified warranty. Visit us at BeaverToyotaComing.com and see why everyone loves Beaver Direct.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah.
Political analyst Stephen Lawson in studio. You're too young to remember that TV show theme song, aren't you, Stephen? That was the theme song for The Fall Guy, starring Lee Majors, who turns 86 years old today. You might remember Lee Majors more than from The $6 Million Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great show. He's still alive. He is the $6 Million Man at 86. Welcome to the show, Stephen. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Happy Wednesday.
Right back at you. By the way, there's nothing bundt cake in the newsroom if you want a snack after the segment. Let's start with the governor's race. The big news yesterday, Jason Carter says he will not run for the governor's seat or the Democratic nomination. His wife is dealing with cancer. Jason Carter, obviously not just statewide name recognition, but nationwide name recognition. Obviously, you know, I wish his wife a speedy recovery. He's doing the smart thing, right? But is that a big blow to Democrats that he is now not a possible candidate?
I think it's a huge blow. You know, certainly our thoughts and prayers are with his wife and his family. I think everybody understands, right, on a human level, that decision for him to put his family first. But yeah, politically, it's a huge blow for Democrats. Obviously, as you mentioned, someone with sky-high name ID because of his family, his time as a state senator. And look, I think he could have really, if he were able to get through a primary, I think he would have been a very, very formidable general election candidate. Obviously, given you know, the legacy of his grandfather and what his family has done for this state. So yeah, obviously, you know, understanding his family situation, but I think that would have been a really good one for the Democrats.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, thoughts and prayers, but Democrats would be like, you know, like, dang, that would have been a good candidate. We do have an official candidacy though on the Democratic side. Jason Estevez has announced that he is going to run. What do we know about Estevez?
Yeah, state senator representing a little bit of Cobb and Fulton County. You know, really strong state senator on the Democrat side, probably the best state senator they have in that chamber. He's led on a number of issues on the Democrat side in terms of education and the economy. I think he will be a potent force. I think he has really low name ID though, so he's going to have to get out there.
That's what I said on Monday.
Yeah, he's going to have to build his name ID out. But look, what I think he's doing is I think he's clearly seeing, hey, Jason Carter's out, Lucy McBath is out. I'm going to play my hand. I'm going to force the issue here, get out early, see if I can build some momentum, some buzz, and maybe keep some of these other bigger names at bay from getting in.
Yeah, first to market can help in certain aspects, and that certainly is. In full disclosure, Deborah, you've reached out to the Estevez campaign to try to get him on, correct?
Yeah, we sent a message yesterday inviting him onto the show.
And anyone that gets in, we'll have a forum here, so we're not going to pick favorites. But, hearing good things about the state senator, but again, not having that statewide name recognition. Someone that probably does is former Atlanta Keisha Lance Bottoms. Is she possibly going to run for the governorship?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like she's going to get in. But look, I think whether it's Jason Estevez or others, I think she's going to have a lot of questions that she's going to have to answer. Obviously, her time not running for a reelection, leaving the mayor's office, really probably on a bad note with the crime that we saw, in Atlanta, the Rayshard Brooks incident, the Wendy's, all of those things are going to be probably a stain on her legacy and questions that she's going to have to answer. And then the transition she made to really being the face of Joe Biden's presidency here in Georgia, probably not a great look. And then the question really is, can a mayor of Atlanta run statewide and be successful? That's a tough question to answer. So I think she may get in, but that's going to be a contentious primary.
I would say that when it comes to her, I don't want to say reputation, but her history here, and you painted it out well here in the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia. But I would think a positive for her would be if you're a Democratic donor in New York or L.A., you're like, oh, I know her. I remember her. I will donate money. She might be able to raise more money than some of these other candidates.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she's going to have some name recognition. Obviously, that Biden donor network, so to speak, that you alluded to, Mark, could be beneficial to her. But with that comes the negative of some of her decisions as mayor, some of her actions, and really inactions probably is a better way to put that. So some good and some bad for her. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know how much traction her campaign will really get there.
I don't want to bring it up, but people saying that possibly another run for Stacey Abrams, which I can't fathom, but it seems like that could be a realistic possibility.
Yeah, I think it could be, right? She's probably thinking in her head, third time's the charm, right? But look, I think from her perspective, first of all, she has not publicly ruled it out. She said that she's not going to do that. And look, it may be a situation where she sits back and says, hey, Jason Estevez isn't getting off the ground. Keisha Lance Bottoms' campaign is sort of, sputtering. Maybe the third time is the charm for me. I don't think she can be successful in a statewide race, but I will say this. She will be very, very difficult to beat in a Democrat primary. It's a huge cloud, I would say, that's hanging over the Democrats right now in terms of her decision whether or not to run.
The fact that she would be tough to beat in a Democratic primary leads me to believe that the Democratic National Party is not going to let her run. They're three times. I mean, twice you had the shot. Let some new blood in there. I'm going to make a wild prediction that a name we have not even mentioned or even thought about will be the Democratic candidate. I think we're going to get a wild card coming in late.
You're putting your money on the field.
I am
like
putting
that.
my money on the field. Absolutely. Rory McIlroy, right? He was in the field. All right, Republican side. Do we have any folks that have said, yes, indeed, I am running for governor?
Yeah, we've got one officially announced, and Attorney General Chris Carr. Obviously, he was appointed to that position, then ran successfully last cycle. has really made public safety his number one issue. Has raised a decent amount of money. The impending announcement is coming from Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. He will be getting into that race quickly. I expect he will be the odds-on favorite to win the Republican primary. He's been a strong supporter of President Trump. I fully expect him to get that endorsement. But we'll see what other names potentially emerge. You and I talked recently about the biggest decision right now is whether or not the governor will run for the U.S. Senate seat. That will set off a domino effect. And if there are people like, say, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger that decide not to run for the U.S. Senate and say, I want to run for governor in the Republican primary, there could be more names to join that list. But again, all of that starts with Governor Kemp's decision.
And we'll see what happens there. Does the Secretary of State, does he have enough support from MAGA-dumb to run for a statewide office?
It'll be tough. That's the biggest question, I think, facing him. If you listen to the critics of him, the answer to that would be no. Yeah. And there are certainly data points that would support that case, particularly relative to Burt Jones getting in the race. But if you listen to his supporters say, well, everybody counted us out in 2022, True. And we won going away without a runoff against a Trump-backed primary challenger.
I don't have the numbers, but I would imagine the Secretary of State polls pretty well with independents. I would imagine he's got a lot of support there.
He does. He has a lot of support with independents and potentially crossover voters. So.
All right, Stephen, let's talk about Governor Kemp signing some stuff into law that cleared the Gold Dome. What did the governor sign, and what are we dealing with now?
Yeah, earlier this week, the governor signed into law this tort reform legislation, which is really civil lawsuit reform, basically balancing the scales in the courtroom. Things like premises liability, seatbelt admissibility in court cases. Basically, what businesses across the state have said is, look, I'm having trouble getting insurance. My premiums are going through the roof. I'm getting sued for stuff that I shouldn't be getting sued for. These laws really kind of balance the scales and bring some of that balance back to the courtroom. It was a really tough fight. It was the governor's number one priority, and he was able to get it across the finish line and sign a law. So I think that'll be good for businesses and job creators across the state.
And hopefully insurance rates.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
That's the hope, is that more companies or insurance companies are able to come back to the state to bring some more competition and to hopefully lower rates.
So moving forward, I know we just finished the session, but Governor Kemp, can't run again. He's got just a little time left on his term. Do you know of any future goals he might have legislatively moving forward to close, put a cherry on top of his governorship?
Yeah, no, he hasn't really been public about anything moving forward. Obviously, this tort reform package was his big, heavy lift, and that may end up being one of his signature legislative accomplishments. Obviously, going into his last year, there's not going to be a lot of big things that he's going to be advocating for. But certainly, this Senate decision will be a big one. And really, what is his legacy? What does he want to do moving forward? Does he want to go, again, back to the private sector? Does he want to keep a toe in the water on potentially 2028 presidential race? So lots of options for Brian Kemp, and it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I'm very anxious to see what the future holds for him and the First Lady. Stephen Lawson, tell the folks about you and your outfit, brother.
Yeah, principal at Denton's, and you can find me at Stephen Lawson _. And Mark, always great to be here.
Stephen joins us live every Wednesday here in studio, dressed to the nines. I got to get your tailor's number. You look fantastic, my friend.
Well, I might need to get some new clothes then.
I appreciate it, buddy. All right, when we come back, we'll update our top local stories. We'll see if the news is still good on Wall Street, but right now, is the news good or bad on the roads? Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Andrew Seco.
Certainly in better shape than what we've been following most of the morning, Mark. We are moving a lot better than what we've seen. We do have a couple trouble spots, though. First one, as I'm speaking, is going off to the shoulder. How about that for this point in the morning? All lanes back open. I-20 westbound. We're at Panola Road, exit 71. The brake lights will take a couple minutes to thin out, so you may want to keep using Covington Highway till we're in better shape. And the second worst of it looks to be the ride heading onto the downtown connector northbound, 7585. Vehicle fire cleanup is gone, but the brake lights are filling in with the volume. You're slow from Langford Parkway all the way up towards Freedom Parkway. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Founded by hardworking Georgians in 1992, Builders provides tailored insurance solutions to safeguard workers and business owners from costly accidents. confidence. Explore reliable workers' compensation and general liability products at BLDRS.com. Builders, insurance built strong.
We were ready to sell, but I got so overwhelmed with everything that needed to be done. Accepting the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate shortened my to-do list.
Hi, this is Mark Spain. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home stress-free and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. With our guaranteed offer, there are no showings, no open houses, and no stress.
And the value of getting all of my time back that I would have spent on home repairs, priceless.
Go to markspain.com to receive a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
The local folks at Breda Pest Management know my house inside and out, and they've customized a unique plan that stops bugs and critters. Hey friends, it's Mark Aram. With Breda, it's always a familiar local person servicing my home and answering my calls. Never an irritating automated call center. Breda cares more. They're our neighbors, and they'll work harder for you. Doing it better is what the Breda family does. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Looking for a great dining memory, y'all? Hey, it's Belinda. I love the amazing Southern food and service at Old Vinings Inn. If you haven't been there yet, you're missing out. Nestled in the heart of Vinings, that charming house offers a cozy, upscale, and welcoming atmosphere, perfect for any occasion. Romantic dinner, baby or bridal shower, business dinner, night out with friends. Old Vinings Inn has you covered. Indulge in delectable Southern cuisine, crafted with the freshest ingredients. Savor their signature fried green tomatoes and fried chicken, or delight in the rich flavors of my favorite, shrimp and grits. Everything on the menu is a winner. You thirsty? The curated wine list and handcrafted cocktails are sure to impress. Enjoy all that plus live entertainment and specials at the Attic Bar. Wednesday through Saturday nights. Ready for fun and flavor now, y'all? Open for lunch and brunch Thursday through Sunday and dinner Wednesday through Saturday. Reserve your table or large groups today at Old Vinings Inn.
Scott Slade here from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you're going to be able to get it into the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare.
Maybe you've heard joining Medi-Share can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. Medi-Share works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
That was the sound of the opening bell on Wall Street this morning. Thus far, the news has been good, and it is still good, my friends. Dow's up almost 1,000 points. S&P up 161. NASDAQ, up 666. 4% gain, though, on the NASDAQ right now. This is a big, big day on Wall Street. We will see if it holds steady, but obviously the good financial news coming from the White House yesterday. President Trump says he is not going to go after Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He's still going to be critical, but he's not going to try to oust him. And obviously investors like that certainty of knowing that there's not going to be a new Fed chair handpicked by President Trump. And the Treasury Secretary says, hey, eventually something's got to give when it comes to this trade war with China and the reciprocal tariffs. So Wall Street is very, very, I'm going to check the crypto for the crypto bros. Bitcoin's up $1,600, 93,159. So good news from the crypto bros there. Updating, we just had Stephen Lawson, and great stuff as always, talking about politics. This is a local political story. The state of Georgia running at a surplus, but not so in the city of Atlanta, Deborah.
The city of Atlanta has a deficit of $20 million. Mayor Andre Dickens plans to propose a new budget next week, and possible layoffs and budget cuts may be a way to balance things. The city must pass a new balanced budget by the end of June, and Howard Shook, the Atlanta City Council Finance Committee chairman, said he believes the focus is going to be on cutting some of the city's workforce. Now, the council is required to pass a balanced budget by the end of June. Until then, hiring for any vacant position is going to be on hold unless they get a special approval from the mayor's office. Recent several events led to the budget gap, including snowstorms, President Carter's funeral, and providing security for the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center.
All right, so those are kind of one-offs. And to me, I don't know, maybe, Deborah, you can find out what is the annual budget for the city of Atlanta, but a $20 million shortfall doesn't seem that big, right? That seems like they can, just boot more cars downtown and like something, right? Anyway, well, we'll monitor that again. There's a $20 million shortfall. But again, a lot of that was, because of President Carter's funeral and stuff that doesn't happen every year. But maybe we'll reach out to the mayor, get him back on. It's been a minute since now we know he is a fan of the show. He should be warm receptive to come back on the Mark Arum Show. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, we'll update our top local stories, the latest on the situation with the Pope and his funeral plans, and we're going to give away some amazing tickets to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett. So much more to come. Stay with us, friends. It's the Mark Arum Show, WSB.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head-scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Suwannee police issuing a public warning after a caretaker steals thousands of dollars from multiple elderly victims in the metro.
There are at least 4 victims right now, and there are likely more. Suwannee Police Captain Robert Thompson says 24-year-old Brianna Michelle Powell faces a list of charges for allegedly taking about $20,000 from the victims.
Right now, we're just trying to find if there's anybody out there that may have had Miss Powell working in their home, and they feel like that they may have been defrauded by her.
He says none of the victims realized they had been victimized. That includes stolen checks and fraudulent charges on their credit cards. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Your weather for today: cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, a few thunderstorms late in the afternoon. Highs around 78, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. Well, the faithful are traveling from all over the world to pay their respects to Pope Francis. Terry Moran reporting a ceremony was held when the Pope was brought into St. Peter's Basilica.
Irish-American Cardinal Kevin Farrell, a former Dallas bishop.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Leading a brief prayer before Pope Francis began his final journey to the Great Basilica, his home church as Pope for 12 years. Applause rose up across St. Peter's Square. Thousands gathered here to pray and pay their respects.
Now the Pope's body will lie in state at the Vatican ahead of his funeral on Saturday. A second deer here in Georgia has tested positive for chronic wasting disease. Wildlife officials saying the 4-year-old buck was discovered in Berrien County, about 400 yards from the location where the first sick deer turned up back in January. That case was reported in neighboring Lanier County. Tina Johansson with the Georgia DNR Wildlife Resource Division previously telling WSB it takes up to 2 years for deer to show symptoms.
What other states have found is it may seem invisible in the early years as it's slowly spreading, and that prevalence will continue to creep up as well if you're not monitoring and managing your deer herd.
And chronic wasting disease, also known as zombie deer disease, has been reported in 36 states. So far, there are no reported cases of humans contracting the disease, but the CDC warns against eating deer that may be infected. Now, Atlanta gets an F in a new report on air quality from the American Lung Association, the city ranking 3rd worst in the Southeast for smoke and 4th for particle pollution. Walmart announcing it plans to renovate 20 stores here in Georgia by the end of the year, including 4 locations in the metro Atlanta area. The so-called stores of the future will include the Marietta location on Austell Road, the Snellville store on Scenic Highway, the Pavilion Parkway location in Fayetteville, and then the store on Brownsbridge Road in Gainesville. Walmart says the stores will include a new look, more selection, and expanded online pickup and delivery areas. And a new study this morning finds Americans are more afraid of going broke in retirement than they are of death. Correspondent Michael Wallace has more.
Allianz Life surveyed 1,000 adults who make at least $50,000 a year and found 2/3 of them are more worried about their retirement funds drying up than they are of kicking the bucket. Gen Xers, for whom retirement is about a decade away, are the most apprehensive, followed by baby boomers who are already of retirement age. Inflation and the future of Social Security are the biggest concerns.
The Federal Reserve says 1/4 of Americans have nothing saved for retirement. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow right now is up 890 at 40,077. NASDAQ is currently up more than 3.5%, and the S&P is up almost 3%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams. He has a look at your roads.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, still watching some leftover volume in DeKalb. Out of Lithonia, 20 westbound on and off the brakes from Evans Mill Road. Passing Panola Road where earlier trouble cleared. Downtown, I'm still seeing some brake lights. 75, 85 northbound, starting before University Avenue up toward Freedom Parkway. That earlier car fire cleanup. Still some flashing lights off to the right there at University Avenue, but no lanes blocked. And 85 southbound out of Duluth, you're seeing some merging madness leaving Highway 316 down to Beaver Ruin Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy through the afternoon, high 78. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms continue through this evening, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, cloudy skies with pop-up showers and thunderstorms, high 77. This pattern continues through Friday.
68 degrees in Canton at 71 in Druid Hills. Peachtree Corners, you have 70 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I'll run this town to be near you. I stand
11:05, and I'm still in an extraordinarily good mood. Is it the markets? Is it the weather? Is it the nothing bundt cake we had for Amanda Moyer's birthday? I don't know, but I don't want to jinx it. Welcome back, friends. Mark Airman crew with you till noon. In exactly 1 hour from now, I am going to give you another chance to win $1,000 in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. And in 30 minutes, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. Crazy stuff going on Wall Street right now. Let me just hit the refresh button. And the Dow is up 957 points. NASDAQ's up over 600 points. That is almost a 4% gain. So obviously, good news on Wall Street in reaction to what President Trump said yesterday and what the Treasury Secretary said about an off-ramp to our trade war with China. In fact, we heard from Scott Bessent this morning.
China can start by moving its economy away from export overcapacity and towards supporting its own consumers and domestic demand. Such a shift would help with global rebalancing that the world desperately needs.
All right, so the markets are responding well to that, and maybe even more so, they're responding to President Trump saying he has no desire to remove the federal chair, Jerome Powell. Joining us live covering this story from Bloomberg News is Katerina Saravia. Did I pronounce that correctly, Katerina?
Saraiva.
Saraiva. Yeah. Katerina, what a beautiful name, by the way. Katerina, good morning. Thanks for your time. Obviously, very busy news day in Bloomberg. Did I read what the markets are reading correctly, that they see positive news from not only the Treasury Secretary, but President Trump saying Jerome Powell's job is safe?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of those are really contributing to the rally, maybe relief rally we're seeing today. And yeah, especially on the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, we've seen that really impact markets over the past week or so, as we've had, several comments from the president about that. So I think just him coming out and saying that he has no intention to fire the Fed chair really has given a lot of people kind of relief, and folks are taking a breath right now.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but it's kind of amusing that the markets are like, yes, the president's not going to do something that's never been done before. And that's good news. You understand what I'm saying? There's never been a president to threaten the job of the Fed chair. So President Trump is just doing what other presidents have done, and the markets are happy about that.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. And I mean, I would say that this has never been done when looking at kind of the past 40 years or so. There was like a bit more intervention from the White House before that. I mean, certainly not an outright firing, but, you did see more pressure from the White House, sometimes successfully, in the past, but certainly since the late 70s or so, we've enjoyed a good amount of Fed independence in this country.
Katerina, obviously the markets here in the U.S. but it's early. Again, I don't want to jinx it. We're not even at the lunch hour yet, but the markets in the U.S. reacting positively. But overnight, Asia markets were up about 2%. European markets were up between 1% and 3%. So globally, everyone's like, oh, okay, the president's not going to get rid of the Fed chair. So, I mean, the whole globe is celebrating this news.
Yeah, I mean, this really has repercussions around the world. We are the biggest economy. I think we are kind of a place that people look to for guidance and for kind of a standard. And I think if you saw central bank independence deteriorate here, not only might you see that happen, the door to that open in other countries, but I think it would also just raise concern about the economic environment in general, right? Like the old adage of the U.S. sneezes and the world catches a cold, right?
Yeah.
I think that applies here.
And what this has done too, Katerina. Again, this is outside my sphere of expertise, but we got some kind of sour news from the International Monetary Fund yesterday about the United States economic forecast and the global economic forecast. But that seems to be like old news now. Once we got some stability from the White House.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, things are still very uncertain, and we just don't know what could potentially happen to growth here and globally this year because we don't know what's going to happen, where tariffs are going to land. So I think that's the big kind of question mark and the biggest thing that will impact all of this. But certainly, I mean, you're seeing these global bodies like the IMF putting out forecasts of lower growth. You're seeing that across most economists as well. But it's just, we don't know yet. And I think certainly kind of these comments on the Fed chair on not, trying to fire the Fed chair, I think that helps. But at the end of the day, for growth, I think a big driver of that is going to be what ultimately happens with tariff policy.
Final question for you, Katerina. I theorized earlier in the show because the headline on Monday was the Dow is facing its worst April since the Great Depression, right? Really, really bad news. Is there any chance that the Oval Office, the West Wing, saw that and said, oh, we can't end April having the worst April since the Great Depression. Let's give ourselves some off ramps and get those markets humming so we're not in record bad territory.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, right? We know that markets are something the president watches closely. I mean, whether a down market is going to have a huge impact on his thinking, I'm not sure, because we saw the initial reaction to the tariffs that were first announced on Liberation Day or whatnot, and they didn't change much. It was only later that they made changes to that. So I think they are willing to tolerate some kind of negativity in markets, but yeah, I think there's a limit for them, and I think those kinds of benchmarks when you're looking at, okay, this is the worst April since the Great Depression, that's a really big kind of headline, right? And I imagine that has an effect.
No one wanted that on the resume. Katerina, fantastic insight. Folks want to follow you on social media. You available anywhere?
Yes, I'm on Twitter at Katerina Saraiva.
I will tweet it out so everyone can follow you. Katerina from Bloomberg News, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. I love, Deborah, when my theories get verified by experts, right?
I was right.
I was right. And I just, that was just off the cuff. Anyway, the markets, listen, again, I hate to say this, but I know there are some people out there, unless you are a day trader and you've been shorting the markets, no one should be mad that the markets are up. And up significantly, right? That helps your college tuition fund. That helps your 401k. That helps your IRA. It's good news that we are avoiding a historically bad April. This is a story that caught my eye this morning as someone that has an agent. When did I hire my agent? I'm going to tell you the story about how I hired my agent. It's been a while, though, but I have an agent now that deals with my contract stuff. Hopefully, my agent doesn't do this to me.
Be careful with those agents. A Hollywood agent stole $1.8 million from struggling actors. Mark Measures, the former owner of KMR Talent, stole from these actors and employees at his firm. He would use any excuse to not pay them, saying, oh, it was because of the earthquake, there were power outages, blackouts, employees were sick, mail delays. And these are working actors with small parts in various series. The agent used money for things like Lakers tickets, spa days, designer clothes, and even big night outs. Now, he pleaded not guilty at his arraignment and refused to answer whether he actually stole any money from his clients. Judge Althea Drysdale ordered measures to turn over his passport, releasing him as the charges were not bail eligible.
That's dastardly. You have to trust your agent with everything. You just have to. Vinny, do you have a musical agent yet? You're going to need one soon.
I need one.
Man. You know what? I'm going to talk to Jermaine Dupree, and I'll put you in touch with someone.
Yeah.
So I first of all, having an agent, that's a tough check to write every month. It really is. Especially in my case, where it's not like my agent's out hustling new gigs for me. Basically, he just handles the contract negotiations. But years ago, the agent to the big radio personalities in Atlanta was a guy named Norm Schrut. And, he was Ryan Cameron's agent. Like, you name it, he was the big agent. And I was getting to the point in my career where I said, I hate negotiating, right, Deborah? First of all, I hate confrontation. You know this. Like, I don't like confrontation. I won't break up with a girl. I just awkward. So I was like, I can't do it, especially when I love my bosses here, right? I couldn't get mad at my bosses. So I said, Norm Schrut, I got to get that guy. And he used to go to Goldberg's for breakfast every morning on West Paces Ferry. And I was like, I saw him there one morning, and I just went up to him, and I had my business card. And I said, Norm, I'm sorry to bother you breakfast. And I handed him my business card. I'd love for you to represent me. Like, I just shot my shot, right? And he signed me. And he was very influential in my career, getting me increase in salary and benefits. And he was fantastic. And it took me out of the process of having to negotiate with my friends here. My bosses are my friends here. It was invaluable. And Norm sadly passed away a few years ago. And I said, well, that's as much as I love Norm, writing that check every month to pay them when basically a radio agent is just there to negotiate your contract. Once they do that, they're just taking money from you every month. Every month you just cut them a check. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't need an agent. I know what I'm doing. But this was around the time, Deborah, where I wanted to retire from television. And I'm not going to get into the weeds with you, but my contract was all tied between radio and TV because I had two jobs. And I didn't think I could handle the ins and outs of getting out of TV and still doing radio and not losing a lot of money. So I had to hire another agent, Ross Eatman, who's fantastic, another great guy. Again, it's still painful to write that check. So I thought I was going to go agentless, but I had to get another agent. And knock on wood, Norm didn't steal from me and Ross didn't steal from me. Have you ever had an agent in the radio biz, Deborah?
No. Good Lord, no. No, I'm so low on the poll that no, I think they would laugh at me.
No,
they talk to my agent.
They totally would not laugh at you. If I would highly recommend, and I've referred Norm and Ross to folks in the radio biz to do it because they just get a percentage of whatever your salary is. But if you ever feel the need, like you need some sort of a leverage, or you don't want to be, I don't want to, go hand-to-hand combat with my boss. It's just because I got to work with him every day. Let someone else be the bad guy. So I maintain that it was worth it. But goodness gracious, that's a painful check to write every month. An absolute painful check. All right, enough about that. Anyway, if you haven't, we're going to get Vinny a musical agent for sure. All right, let's check the ride around town on this Wednesday morning. It was a bear this morning. Have things calmed down at all yet, Alex Williams?
Definitely starting to. We do still have some flashing lights off to the right with that earlier car fire, 7585 northbound University Avenue. That's where you're going to start the brake tapping for the ride up past I-20. In DeKalb County, still a little sluggish through the work zone, 20 westbound from the mall at Stonecrest, passing Panola Road. Also in DeKalb, a crash pushed off to the right quickly, 285 northbound, the outer loop before Chamblee Tucker Road, exit 34. Traffic brought to you by Lear Capital. Our financial system is cracking under pressure. Your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver report and precious metals IRA guide at betternestegg.com. Don't leave your future to chance. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
That is awesome.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
This is Jill from Roswell, and I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app.
Your next chance to win is coming up at 12.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz
on 95.5 WSB.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
Roof. I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
It's Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and that means this month, buying diamonds comes with even more diamonds. All through the month of April, when you spend $9.95 or more, you'll receive a pair of gorgeous hand-matched diamond studs absolutely free. Shopping for your wife? Tuck those studs away for your anniversary. Upgrading your ring? Surprise your daughter with her first pair of diamonds. No matter how you spin it, there's no better deal in jewelry than Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. All April long in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
11:23 on this really nice Wednesday here in Atlanta. Welcome back. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Coming up after the news at 11:35, Deborah's got tickets to give away. Billy Idol, Joan Jett performing together or separately, but they're going to be at the same venue. It's Maris Bank Amphitheater on May 9th. And then right after the news at noon, I'm going to give you another keyword in the 5K a day bonus blitz. Coming back to some breaking news politically, however...
Where is Hector?
This is from our buddy Manu Raju on Capitol Hill News. Dick Durbin, the longtime second-ranking Democrat in the Senate, announces that he plans to retire at the end of next year, setting off a succession scramble to take his powerful leadership spot in the chamber and a likely crowded primary in Illinois for the seat. So Dick Durbin, second-ranking Democrat in the Senate, says he's done, and he is one of many Democrats that are hanging up their briefcases and hats after the end of this term. So a lot of questions for the Democrats when it concerns the Senate and the House. So that just popped there from Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Dick Durbin says he is going to resign. Also, I want to update the Russia-Ukraine war. This just in. The U.S. has presented a new proposal to Ukraine for ending the war. ABC News has learned that one part of the deal could allow Russia to retain some of the territory it's currently holding in Ukraine. Ukrainians have not been in favor of losing territory, obviously, but they have said they're interested in negotiating so that the fighting stops. More from ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge, who says all parties are in London for talks.
It appears that Russia has told the US that it is willing to move away from some of its more unrealistic demands. For example, in the past, it was saying that it would need to occupy the entirety of 4 Ukrainian regions, which at the moment, the Russian military only occupies in parts. So Russia is creating the idea that it is willing now to make concessions to put the pressure on Ukraine.
Interesting. So Russia is going to make concessions, but if this deal goes forward, Crimea, which was illegally annexed by Russia back in 2014, would remain in Russia control. I don't know if that would be a non-starter for Ukraine or not. I believe Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been speaking on this morning. I'm going to try to hunt down some audio on that. But listen, I've been very, very pessimistic about any sort of a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine because I just don't see the impetus for Vladimir Putin to concede anything. He's winning. He's winning. Why? Why would you give up anything right now when you are winning the war? But that just popped. I'll update that in just a second. Oh, I do want to follow up. We mentioned earlier that the city of Atlanta had a $20 million budget shortfall. Deborah tells me the Atlanta city budget annually, $2.75 billion. So that's a big budget for a big city. I think they can make up that $20 million shortfall. All right, when we come back after news, weather, and traffic, we'll head back to D.C. We'll update our top local stories and giving away tickets to Billy Idol and Joan Jett. Social medias are active throughout the broadcast. If you want to see Soba, the picture I posted in my story for National Beagle Day yesterday, it's on my Instagram account, at Mark Arum, M-A-R-K-A-R-U-M.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, you're their priority. From personalized service to luxury amenities, they make sure you feel valued every step of the way. Buying or servicing, your experience matters. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
Hey, it's Scott Slade with another big update from my friends at Myland. They've got a new mortgage available to those of you who own a rental home or investment property. This loan allows you to qualify based on the cash flow of the property. And that means you don't need to provide your income or employment like a traditional mortgage. It's special programs and industry knowledge like this that keep me talking about the abilities of my friends at Myland. Whether you're looking to buy a new home, refinance to lower your payment, or need to see how you can access the equity in your home to pay off other debts, do yourself a favor. Call my friends at Myland. Countless 5-star reviews and testimonials from homeowners just like you. Myland's been a top mortgage lender in Atlanta and a friend of mine for decades. Give Myland a call today. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS in Georgia residential mortgage licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
It only happens once a year. It's always fun. It's our signature Sign and Drive event. All you got to do is sign and drive with no money down and no payments for 90 days. Plus, at Beaver Toyota, you'll receive exclusive Beaver benefits with your new car. Benefits like no-charge oil changes and car washes. And yes, even complimentary loaner cars and a lifetime powertrain warranty. It's our annual Sign and Drive event. Now, this is the way car buying should be. Only at Beaver Toyota. We're here to wow you.
It's the active season here in the ATL. Are you going to be active or inactive because of chronic joint pain? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at QC Kinetics. I want you to know something. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Atlanta are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief you need. With QC Kinetics, the science solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Get out and be active this summer. Golfing, swimming, tennis. Heck, pickleball seems to be picking up speed. Get out there and be active. Don't let your chronic joint pain hold you back. Curious if you'd be a candidate for these treatments? No problem. Consultation totally free, and they're happy to take a look and see if they can help you finally get relief. Call now and find out how easy it is to get back to enjoying life without chronic joint pain. Now, the best time to get started. Call QC Kinetics now, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026 for QC Kinetics.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. A new FBI crime report released this morning, and it shows cybercrime is a growing problem and older Americans being hit especially hard.
Seniors were hit with a barrage of different kinds of scams, ranging from people pretending to be co-workers soliciting money to scams involving criminals claiming to be tech support. They claim they found a virus on your computer that they'll remove for a fee.
Now, correspondent Pierre Thomas reports cyber criminals stole a record $16.6 billion last year. That's a big increase from the $12.5 billion the year before. Older Americans hit the hardest, as we said, losing $4.8 billion. Your weather for today: cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, and a few thunderstorms late this afternoon with a high of 78, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. Well, parents are investing a lot in their kids' sports. A new survey from New York Life finds parents spend an average of $3,000 every year on youth sports, and that number has only gone up in recent years. Kids on average spend about 15 hours each week on sports activities, and many parents, most of them, say they're very active in those events, either being at the sporting events or helping coach them. More than 80% of parents say their kids have the potential to play at the college level. Almost the same amount say that they think that their children one day could go pro. The nation's birth rate is still near a record low. The Atlanta-based CDC saying births increased by just 1% last year from 2023's record low. The fertility rate is at 1.6 births per woman. That's well below the 2.1 needed to keep the nation's population steady. Now, this low birth rate could impact the economy with fewer younger workers around to support the growing senior population. The Drug Enforcement Agency would like you to go ahead and get rid of your leftover drugs. Check your kitchen cabinets and your bathroom cabinets. This Saturday is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, where the DEA sponsors sites all across the country for disposal of unused prescription drugs. The goal is to keep them from being flushed and contaminating the water supply or ending up in the wrong hands. There'll be collection sites set up all across the nation, including here in the metro area, this Saturday between 10 and 2. And another big round of job cuts coming to Intel, which has hundreds of workers here in Atlanta.
A source tells Bloomberg News that the chipmaker is getting set to announce plans to slash more than 20% of its staff. It would be the first major restructuring under new CEO Lip-Bu Tan, who took over last month. Last year, Intel cut about 15,000 jobs. The company lost its technological edge and has struggled to catch up with NVIDIA in artificial intelligence computing. Intel had nearly 109,000 employees at the end of last year. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
So far, been a good day on Wall Street. The Dow is currently up 641 at 39,828. The Dow's up more than 1.5%. NASDAQ's up almost 3%. And the S&P is up more than 2%. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Just had all lanes blocked and reopened on the west side. 285 south, that interloop ramp to I-20 eastbound. Hero Police got a stall off to the side there. Heads up downtown. They're holding the right lane again, trying to get rid of the last of this car fire cleanup from this morning. 7585 northbound University Avenue, exit 244. And if you're coming out of Duluth, 85 southbound still slow where you merge from 316 onto 85 south. Those delays break up, though, once you get past Beaver Ruin Road, heading toward the Norcross area. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy through this afternoon, high 78. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms popping up with the heating of the day. Some of these storms will continue through tonight, lows in the low 60s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with widespread rain showers and thunderstorms, high 77. More stormy weather is on the way for Friday.
71 degrees in Chamblee and Monroe. Snellville, you have 71 degrees. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 north.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
The United States will also demand that the management and staffs of these institutions be
Treasury
accountable.
Secretary Scott Bessent speaks and the markets react positively. Coming up, we'll check Wall Street. Plus, Deborah's got tickets to give away. Billy Idol, Joan Jett, next on the Mark Arum Show.
I've been reporting on our traffic for decades. I can assure you, wrecks will happen. Oh, I've seen them. And insurance will try to pay as little as possible. Hey, it's Smiler Mark McKay. When bad traffic leads to a bad accident, get a great lawyer. I recommend John Foy & Associates, the strong arm. If you're injured, don't try to take on the insurance companies alone. You need John Foy and his army of lawyers to fight for what you deserve. There's no cost until they win. Call for your free case evaluation, johnfoy.com.
You still want a new deck on your house, but you think you may have missed a deck building window? Well, you're wrong. Dave Baker here. At Ben Hill Renovations, deck building goes on year-round. Whether your existing deck is old, rotting, and unsafe, or you just want to upgrade your outdoor living space, now is the perfect time to get the ball rolling. Check out their new website at bhrenovations.com. Better yet, go to their showroom, speak with the designer, and see all that they have to offer up close. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries and most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Is painting the house on your project list? Make this the last time you paint with Rhino Shield, backed by a 25-year warranty.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Critters creeping? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2.
Ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. Say it with soul, Aram. 11:37 on the Mark Aram Show. Updating some big local stuff, some big national stuff, some big international stuff. But first, let's give back to our friends and neighbors. Deborah Green, what do we have today, my friend?
A pair of tickets to go check out Billy Idol and Joan Jett in the It's a Nice Day to Tour Again tour, Friday, May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater.
I want more, right? That's Billy Idol?
That's right.
Yeah,
yep.
There you go. All right, Blue, let's do the 17th caller. 17th caller to 404-872-0750. 17th caller to 404-872-0750 wins the tickets to see Billy Idol, Joan Jett, May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, courtesy of the Mark Aram Show and 95.5 WSB. And right after the new news, I'm going to give you another keyword in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Chance for you to win $1,000 right here on WSB. Tomorrow, big night for sports fans. It's the NFL Draft. Yeah, I'm excited. The mock drafts, for those that follow such things, they're all so different and so weird. I know my Giants are probably going to blow it. They have the 3rd overall pick. They'll mess it up. I got to check when the Falcons draft. I'm not sure exactly what. But speaking of Falcons, Uncle Arthur, special private message to you, my Uncle Arthur Blank. In my head, he's my uncle. He's not my Mr. Blank, Uncle Art. If you draft Nick Jackson, linebacker out of Iowa, I promise to purchase a luxury suite for the next Falcon season. If you draft Nick Jackson, linebacker out of Iowa, I will purchase a luxury suite at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is good news for Deborah and Vinny and Longoria and everyone, because I'll have all these amazing all-you-can-eat tickets at Mercedes-Benz. So please, Nick Jackson, incomparable linebacker out of Iowa State, played at Virginia too. He's a tackling machine. Uncle Art, if you're listening, please draft Nick Jackson. All right, so I told you the breaking news earlier that Dick Durbin is going to retire after this term. He just posted a video on social media. This is going to shake the halls of power in the Democratic corridors. Let's see what Senator Durbin has to say on socials.
The decision of whether to run for re-election has not been easy. I truly love the job of being United States Senator, but in my heart, I know it's time to pass the torch. So I'm announcing today that I will not be seeking re-election at the end of my term. The people of Illinois have honored me with this responsibility longer than anyone elected to the Senate in our state's history. I'm truly grateful. Right now, the challenges facing our country are historic and unprecedented. The threats to our democracy and way of life are very real. And I can assure you, I'll do everything in my power to fight for Illinois and the future of our country every day of my remaining time in the Senate. I've given over half of my life to House and Senate congressional service. I've always tried to stand up to power on behalf of the people of Illinois and our country. But none of it would have been possible without my wife, Loretta, our kids, Christine, Paul, and...
All right, there you go. Dick Durbin announcing that he is not going to run for re-election. Deborah, I have a question for you. And for all the Richards out there listening. At what point in your life, this is not a political statement or anything, but if your name's Richard, at what point in your life do you go, you know what, I'm going to go by Dick instead of Richard or Rich or Richie? Is that decision made for you? Is it your parents that make that decision? Like my younger brother's name is Richard. We were never going to call him Dick Aram. I've been called Dick Aram, but no one was going to call my brother. Like, is that a generational thing? Like, no one that's been born after 2000, and his name's Richard, goes, you know what, I'm going to go with Dick.
Yeah, I think that name is given to you, whether it's a family member or a nickname that was assigned by. I don't think you willingly choose it. You know, I don't think like, what could my nickname be? And then you go for that. I think someone gives it to you.
Yeah, maybe it's a generational thing, but I give credit to Senator Durbin. Like, I don't know politically what his legacy will be, but he was elected a U.S. Senator with the name Dick Durbin.
It's an alliteration. That's why he chose.
Is that it?
That's what it is.
It looks good on the campaign posters. Yeah. Like Nixon, right? Tricky Dicky. I guess there's some political history for that. But I guarantee if your name is Richard and you're born after the year 2000, you're not going by Dick. You're going by Rich, Richard, Richie. Anyway, just an observation there. Never once did my brother go, you know what, guys? Don't call me Richie anymore. I'm gonna go with the other name. I probably said that way too many times. Makes a lot of people. Vinny's very uncomfortable right now. Anyway, congrats on your retirement, Dick Durbin. All right, let's get back up to the nation's capital. From CBS News, ABC News, I apologize. It's correspondent Karen Travers. Karen, good morning. I think about all the times I get the markets, I get a headache. I mean, just thinking about what's causing the markets to go up, what's causing the markets to go down. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, issued a warning yesterday saying that President Trump's tariffs are going to slow economic growth around the world and here in the United States. What's been the reaction to that?
Yeah, this was a warning from the IMF yesterday about economic growth in the U.S. They had made a forecast in January that said it would be 2.7% for the year 2025. The IMF has downgraded that to say that the U.S. economy is expected to grow at 1.8% in 2025. And they also say that the president's tariffs are going to slow down growth around the world. And that's a big reason why they changed that projection there for the United States. Now, they're not forecasting a recession for the U.S., so that's something to keep note of here. But yesterday, the market rebounded after Monday's drop, where it clearly seemed to be having a reaction to the president's comments about Jerome Powell, where he was pushing him to cut interest rates, calling him a major loser. He has really been attacking him recently, and he had even indicated that he would potentially try to fire him. Yesterday, he had said that he is not looking to do that. He says, I have no intention of firing him, but he wants to see him be more active in terms of lowering interest rates. The Fed is, of course, independent and doesn't take their direction from the White House.
Karen, the biggest source of all this uncertainty is the trade war ongoing between the United States and China, but maybe some breathing room from the Treasury Secretary?
You know, I think it's more that there's mixed signals right now. You had the president yesterday saying that we're going to be nice, they're going to be nice, and that they're going to have to make a deal, talking about China. But there's no indication that China is coming to the table and ready to make a deal. In fact, they're kind of doing the opposite, and they are very willing to play hardball in this standoff right now. And I think for weeks, the White House seemed to be hoping that it would be President Xi who would pick up the phone and call the president, or be the first one to blink and back off on tariffs, or offer some off-ramp here. That hasn't happened. In fact, they're accusing the administration of economic bullying. They're going tit for tat on tariffs and reaching out to countries that the U.S. does significant trade with, like Vietnam, and trying to work with those countries. So I think the White House is trying to figure out the way out of this. You had Secretary Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, telling investors behind closed doors yesterday that he expects a de-escalation because he says that the current situation is unsustainable.
Which would be great, you know, if we could get a de-escalation. Yeah. I guess the question is, though, who blinks first, right? Who makes the first overture? Right. And I would imagine it's going to have to be the United States. And I've said this before, China can handle more pain economically than we can here in the U.S. because, listen, we have the power of the ballot while Chinese citizens don't.
Yeah, and they just haven't shown any indication that they're going to be the one to blink here. They have not come to the table, and the president certainly seems to be almost pleading with China to be willing to meet him for at least some sort of negotiation. When you have conversations or meetings with the Chinese leader, these things take months of planning. When President Biden had those meetings on the sidelines of World Leader Summit, they were not impromptu. Phone calls were not impromptu. There was a lot of work that went into just setting up those meetings. So it's not surprising that right now they haven't just, dial each other up and have a chat. It's just not how it works.
We'll see how the markets react today. Final question, Karen. Anything big planned at the White House today that we should be paying attention to?
The president just has one thing on his schedule late today, 5 o'clock in the Oval Office. He's signing executive orders, but the White House has not yet indicated what that will be. No briefing, so we'll see how the day plays out. But we won't see the president for about 9 hours.
Karen Travers, ABC News at the White House. Karen, as always, appreciate your time.
Have a great day.
Markets open gangbusters. They've cooled off a little bit the closer we get to the noon hour, but the Dow's still up 594 points. Unfortunately for My OCD, it's below 40,000 now. S&P's up by 100. NASDAQ still up 463 points. That is nearly a 3% rise. The markets rise, the markets fall. We'll follow them throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. Hey, congrats to Cody in Decula. He won a pair of tickets to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett May 9th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. Coming up, we'll update our top local stories. A reminder, stick around after the new news. Right after Sabrina ends her newscast, I'm going to give you another keyword in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Chance for you to win $1,000 here on 95.5 WSB. But first things first, let's go live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Hey, Mark, just found some new trouble in Duluth, 85 southbound, right past where Highway 316 merges in near Pleasant Hill. Stall in the center lane, so that's going to keep the ride slow as you try to make that commute down into Norcross. If you're traveling downtown, still a few brake lights, 75, 85 northbound University Avenue up past Peachtree Pine Street. And I-20 westbound tapping the brakes through the work zone in DeKalb County from Panola Road over to the west side perimeter. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button or call or text 770-594-9969.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage doors should be around to play with the grandkids and talk about the old days when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
That is archival audio of Andrew Longoria, Deborah, playing Hamlet in the drama club in high school in Corpus Christi, Texas. Did you know Longoria was an actor?
That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I
let me
can't
play
wait
that
to see
again.
that.
This is Longoria playing Hamlet.
To be or not to be?
Why am I playing archival audio of Longo in high school? Well, apparently today is William Shakespeare's birthday. He was born April 23rd, 1564, 461 years ago. He ironically died on the same date in 1616 at the age of 52. So happy birthday to William Shakespeare. Let me update this story, talking about everyone's dealing with food insecurity and the uncertain economy. A new type of theft cooking at Walmart.
Baby, this one you know is bad. When they put men in your gates so you don't steal, baby, they meats.
Posts from Walmart shoppers showing tiny wire cages around fancy cuts of meat in the butcher's aisle have gone viral.
You gotta be kidding me. Walmart now has the steak locked up. Let's come to this.
Major retailers across the country are testing new measures to combat rising shoplifting rates. No comment from Walmart, but earlier this year, the company's CEO admitted anti-theft measures were hurting sales.
That's
Deborah
crazy.
Rodriguez, CBS News.
They're locking up the meat now, Deborah, like they used to lock up my my razor blades, the expensive razor blades. They're locking up meat at Walmart. While I have you, Deborah, we've been updating the Pope all along. Pope is not going to be buried with his famous ring.
Pope Francis's signet ring may be destroyed following his death. The fisherman's ring and a pendant called the bulla, they served as official seals for any letters and documents known as papal briefs. New ones were issued to each new incoming pope to prevent any letters or decrees being forged posthumously, but they would be smashed with a hammer upon the pope's death. But when Pope Benedict XVI became the first pope ever to resign in 6 centuries, a new tradition was established. A deep cross was carved into the ring's surface with a chisel. Pope Francis's ring might see this fate as well. It will ultimately be determined by the conclave.
I would do that. You carve in the cross so it can't be used posthumously, but I would bury it with the Pope, right? Wouldn't that be appropriate?
Yeah.
Like, here's your signet ring.
I think they would do that too, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Obviously, rest in peace to Pope Francis. Our coverage continues throughout the week.
Longoria's fact of the day.
Okay, I was trying to decide which one I'm gonna go with, but I'm gonna report on this.
Okay.
April 23rd, 2010, Apple released its groundbreaking iPad. The first of its kind to gain widespread adaptation. The iPad revolutionized the world of tablet technology, bridging the gap between smartphones and laptops.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I used to I had an iPad mini that I got for my birthday one year. I don't have an iPad anymore. Or do people still use iPads aside from kids playing Candy Crush or whatever?
I use it. Yeah.
You use it, Deborah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I use it to watch videos all the time.
Interesting. All right. So happy birthday to the iPad and William Shakespeare and George Lopez. All celebrating birthdays today. All right, let's do some stars of the show and go grab some lunch.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Aram Star of the Show?
Happy birthday, news director Amanda Moyer. Always very helpful with the show, booking guests. So Amanda, on her birthday, gets a star of the show. Correspondent Rory O'Neill on our ongoing war with cancer, star of the show. Karen Travers, ABC News White House correspondent, gets a star of the show. Monsignor Anthony Figueredo joined us live from Rome, butchered his name again. But nonetheless, he gets a star of the show. Political analyst Stephen Lawson, live in studio. Fantastic insight, as always. He gets a star of the show. And what was that guest from outer space from Bloomberg?
Guest from outer space.
What was her name? Tatiana?
Katerina.
She gets to start the show as well. All right, I'm going to be active on the socials. Braves playing an early game today, just a heads up, so I'll probably be watching that. At Mark Arum, MarkArum, is on all the socials. Have a fantastic Wednesday, Atlanta.
Yeah. Said he's going back to a